This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Biz for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He knowing when to go with fits. So we knowing when to switch. This year we
what is up?
Time to see what that pick about.
What is going on?
Only fans up in this house. We've been waiting, yeah, we've been patient.
It is your boy, Stephen D. Good morning on this Hot Take Tuesday. It is Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. Good morning to my family with a PH and my Finlaws. What is going on? It is Clock Blockers. What is up, man? Great Tuesday today. It is May the 16th. It's the first day of the NBA playoffs. Super excited about that. NHL playoffs will start this week. Super excited about that. Man, just a lot going on. Dolphins making moves, still making moves. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into a lot of different things this morning, and I'm super excited to talk to you about all of it. And thank you for being here today. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. I'm your host, Stephen Daniels. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter, where we are at MIA Sports Music. Hey, if you guys want to get on, hit the like button. Hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. Okay, just hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. On your way in this morning, if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? No, seriously, what are you waiting for? If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, guys. It helps. Hey, if you also want to subscribe to the channel, make sure you do that. Hit the bell notification one time. Ding. If you hit that bell notification, make sure you hit all notifications to go along with it because, look, that helps. That helps us grow too. So make sure you all do that. It's a big deal, and it allows us to grow and do what we need to do. Hey, look, if you want to sign up to become a member of the YouTube channel today, it helps. It goes such a long way into, letting me know and letting Miami Sports Music know that you like what we do on a day in, day out basis. Okay. So if you can, sign up to become a member of the channel today. All right. And by signing up to become a member, it helps us know, hey, look, we want you to bring new and amazing content consistently. So if you like this interview, if you like everything that we do here, make sure that you're able to, help the channel grow in that sense because it helps. It goes such a long way. So sign up to become a member today. There are plenty of seats at the table waiting for you. I hit the wrong thing. There we go. Membership. I got 15 things open up on the computer here. Sign up to become a member today. Join the channel to get access to perks. Make sure you click that link. Can we get 3 new members on the channel today? It would help. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. We hope that it does. If you want to help the channel grow by donating monetarily, if you're able to donate, if you are able to donate, please do. Let me tell you why it's so important that you guys donate to the channel. #1, we do this on a day in, day out basis, most Monday through Fridays, morning times right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Look, this is what I do. This is part of how I make a living, and this is part of being able to provide great content for you guys every single day. So only if you're able to, please donate. It helps. It goes such a long way. There's a couple different ways you can donate. You can use the YouTube live super chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. You can also use Cash App or PayPal. And I just put those links right there. I'll actually put them up on the screen for a second. $MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code right on your screen, or you can use MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that's right on your screen there for PayPal. Let me tell you, it helps. Even if it's $1, it goes such a long way. The more you donate, the more I'm able to keep doing this on a regular basis and not have to worry about other things to do. And so, if you're able to donate, please do. It helps. It's a big deal. Okay. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, and they all, sponsor in different ways, some monetarily, some with other things, but they're absolutely amazing. ZSM Sports, the number one place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard to find items. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today. Zachary's got amazing stuff. He's going to be doing a autograph signing with Christian Wilkins coming up. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today at SportsZSM on Instagram. Okay. Big deal. Make sure you all do that. All right. Hey, Lime, man. Lime is awesome. Let me tell you about Less is More events. Lime Tickets. Lime Tickets is it's the place to go. It's the place to do everything, man. If you want to get supplied with the best tickets for sports and entertainment for less than the competition, allowing you to have more fun, what I want you to do is I want you to call the number that's right below on your screen right now. 202-930-3533. It's great. You get a personalized experience with getting your tickets, unlike those third-party sites where you're just going there, you're paying outrageous fees. With Lime, you get tickets at less than the competition. To get a personalized experience today, call the number 202-930-3555. At any event or sporting event you want to go to in the country, Lime takes pride in providing the hottest tickets at great prices with no service fees. So call today. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, man, it's good stuff. It is good stuff. Sorry. A little under the weather, I think. I'm starting to come down with some. I hope I'm not getting too messed up. Hey, look, Tailgater, download the app today on your current Apple or Android device. Absolutely amazing. Download the app today on your current Crapple or Android device. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. And Tailgater is a big partner of what we are doing this year. Well, Steven, what are you doing with Tailgater this year? Well, this year we are doing the Tailgater Tailgate Tour, and we're doing it at a couple different locations. Let me just kind of tell you, last year we did Baltimore, and we did what we call the Baltimore Beatdown. And the Baltimore Beatdown was absolutely amazing. It was awesome. It was about 150 people. And, the cool thing about what we did there is we had about 150 people at the tailgate. It was a VIP section, all you can drink, all you can eat. And it was probably one of the best tailgates I have ever been a part of, let alone hosted. And it was really cool about that. We also had tickets to the game. Well, this year we're doing even better because we partnered up with Lime for tickets for the game. And it's absolutely amazing what we got going on over there. One of the things that I'm excited to talk to you all about in the Baltimore Beatdown is everything that we got going on when it comes to ticket and tailgate this year. So make sure I put in the chat section the link to everything that we have going on there. Okay, so click the link, go check out what we have. We have tickets to the game, upper section, lower section. It's on the Dolphins sideline or Dolphins corner end zone on the Dolphins side, right in the same spot of the stadium. Tickets are at a great price. It's less than the third-party sites, and no service or ticket fees because you're buying on Tailgater. It's great, and we definitely have the best deal in town, and we're super, super excited about that. All right, next thing we got going on today. Just to remind y'all, the Philadelphia Finvasion. Philadelphia Finvasion is going to be an awesome, awesome experience. Let me tell you, this thing is selling out fast. If you guys want to go to what is going to be the hottest game this year, you guys need to buy your tickets now. So, by the way, everything's on a pre-sale. So everything's the lowest price that it'll be, and it'll be at the lowest price until the end of this month. And the Philly Finvasion is going to be awesome. We have a huge 5-hour pregame tailgate going all the way up till 8 p.m., starting at 3 p.m. We start at 3. We're going to end at 8. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a DJ. We're expecting 200 people. And let me tell you, we're already halfway there almost. And that's a big deal. In the tickets that we have, upper section and lower section, Dolphins sideline, Dolphins corner end zone and the lower ones at the Dolphins tunnel where the Dolphins come out. And I'm telling you right now, they are way cheaper than any of the third-party sites that you're going to. Once they are gone, they're gone. I can't get access to any more. Buy your tickets for this game today if you're going to go, because you're not going to see a cheaper price anywhere else. I guarantee that. We've looked it up. We've done the research. It's awesome. Get your tickets today. So make sure y'all do that for the Philly Finvasion. And then last but certainly not least, man, it's definitely going to be the cheapest option of the year for the simple fact that it's the Washington Commanders. And we're super excited to be doing stuff with them. We got an all-you-can-drink, all-you-can-eat tailgate with the Washington Commanders. 10-minute walk from the stadium off of the property, but it's absolutely great. And we're super excited. We're going to have a tailgate. You know, the food there is going to be awesome. And we also have upper level and lower level tickets to that and bundles, and it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm excited. The FedEx Takeover is what we're calling it in Washington. So we got the FedEx Takeover, the Philly Finvasion, and the Baltimore Beatdown, and it's gonna be good times. I hope to see a lot of you there. I know some of you have already bought tickets to stuff. It's absolutely amazing, man. I'm super excited about the whole weekend. And I did a lot more work even yesterday. I had to get a lot of work done to get stuff set in motion. We're going to have access to hotel links and bus transportation from the hotel to the stadium and back at all 3 cities. So hopefully having hotel links by the end of this week, if not beginning of next week. But if you go to that link, we already have tickets and tailgate and game tickets already up on the site. And you know, it's gonna be good. I'm super excited, man. All right, man. A lot of stuff to go through. It helps the channel grow, and super excited to talk about it today. All right, it's Hot Take Tuesday, man. Hot Take Tuesday. Your boy Nando Talks usually here with me. I don't know if Nando's going to be joining us today. I know he had a prior engagement that he had to attend to, so we're just waiting to see if he's going to be able to join us today or not. But, you know, a lot of things still went down yesterday in actually the last few days in the world of sports. At 10:30, for all of my Heat fans, I'm going to have Wes Goldberg on from Locked On Heat at 10:30 this morning to preview the Celtics-Heat series and talk a little bit about how that's going to go. What is Jimmy Butler going to do? The Heat and Celtics 3 times in 4 years in the Eastern Conference Finals. Why do these two teams consistently make it to the cream of the crop? And South Florida sports, man, they're killing it right now. The Panthers and the Heat are going to be alternating days on television. There is an opportunity starting tomorrow night, if I'm correct. I believe tomorrow night, that the Heat and Panthers will be 16 days in a row, potentially, you know, depending on how long these series go. So TNT's hosting the hockey and ESPN is hosting, TNT's hosting the basketball of the Celtics and the Heat, and ESPN is hosting the Eastern Conference Finals for the Panthers and the Devils. And I'm going to have Armando on from Locked On Panthers, Florida Panthers Locked On podcast on Thursday morning. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm hoping to get Kyle Krabs on this week, talk a little bit more about the signings that we got yesterday and this weekend. And just a lot to do, man. Lot to get into, lot to go down, man. All right. So obviously the Dolphins making some moves yesterday, getting some offensive line help. And I think it's going to serve them okay as long as that's not their main moves. And I wanted to give you my thoughts about it, man. The Dolphins, signing 2 picks yesterday in Cedric Ogilvy, former New York Jet, and Isaiah Wynn, former New England Patriot, signing within the division. Perfield Yates, Isaiah Wynn's 1-year contract. It contains a base value of $2.3 million and a max value of 2.7 through incentives. That's not just the veteran minimum. Miami expects Wynn to have a huge and major role on this team, and we're going to have to see how it ends up because, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and we're going to have to see where it goes. So here's my thoughts on it. Isaiah Wynn would never have been my first choice. And before I found out what the numbers were, I was like, well, they're bringing him in, and he's had, last year was a rough year. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if he's going to play a major role on this team. But when you pay somebody $2.3 million with an incentive of 2.7, you're expecting that person to play somewhat of a role on your team. So I do believe that the Dolphins think that they can fix whatever issues Isaiah Wynn's had. And the same goes for Cedric, Ogilvy. Cedric Ogilvy. By the way, both of these are former first-round picks for their respective teams that had drafted them. Both teams. So both guys at one point in time were considered great prospects on the offensive line in the NFL, period. Through other scouts, through other teams. And, there's something about them that the Dolphins, look, they are perfect. They fit the mold of a Chris Greer chess piece of what he's trying to do. Do I like it? I want to see the Dolphins still go after Cam Fleming. Do I think they do it? I'm not sure. But that post-June 1st draft money, it's got to go somewhere. That post-June 1st money has got to go somewhere. So I don't know. I don't know. All I know is they are addressing the O-line, which is ultimately what we wanted them to do. Is it the guys that we wanted them to do it with? Probably not. But they are addressing depth, and they are addressing potential start. Isaiah Wynn 2 years ago, numbers were great, but it's not 2 years ago. The last couple of years for him has been rough, and last year was a bad year for Isaiah Wynn. You go look at his PFF numbers, trash. Just straight trash. And that's real. There's nothing to say about that. And this narrative that the Dolphins are going to move Isaiah Wynn to guard, that is a fan narrative. There's been nothing at all from beat reporters or the team that has indicated that Isaiah Wynn's going to move to guard. That's a fan motivated idea. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying nothing has really said that except fan narratives on social media. I will say this. Any person, I like what PJ Mack said, actually. Last year was his first year at right tackle. The first 3 years was at left tackle. That's why his PFF numbers look like that. That's fair. That's fair. Nothing wrong with that. Statement. I think it's a fair observation. The Dolphins have to realize a couple of things. If they don't improve the offensive line, they're not going to go far. They're just not. And I think that they understand that. And I think they understood that at the draft when they didn't really address the offensive lineman, except with 7th round pick Ryan Hayes, who I fully predict will not make the 53-man roster. No offense to Ryan. No offense to Coach Harbaugh, who tried to sell me in crypto when we were at the Nationals game a couple of weeks ago. I don't see Isaiah Wynn, or excuse me, I don't see these being huge potential rewards. Now, what I will say is they're low risk, high rewards, both of them. Cedric Ogilvie, potential just camp body. But if he turns out to have anything left in that tank as a first-round draft pick and ends up being good, great for us. But the name I wanted to see and fully expected to see the Dolphins go after is Brandon Shell, and they haven't done it yet. And I don't think they will after these two signings, because I'm skeptical that they're going to go after Cam Fleming, who I really wanted them to go after. And DJ, now here's the thing. Again, this is a straight theory. Nothing to indicate this, because they've made signings now. But come post June 1st, if they do go after Cam Fleming and DJ Fluker along with these, Grier looks like a genius, in my opinion. Because both those guys would be, I mean, and along with this, he's taking shots, and there's quality, low risk and high reward shots there. And you can't tell me that not one or two of them will pan out if that's the case. But if you're going to go into training camp thinking Cedric Ogilvie and Isaiah Wynn's going to be your guys, I got another thing for y'all. I got a river in Egypt to sell y'all. Wynn has the talent. He just needs to stay healthy. He's an upgrade from Liam and Jackson. Facts. He can be. Can he adapt to the right side of the line? Can he adapt to the right side of the line? Because last year, all indications were he could not adapt to the right side of the line. Now, what I will say is, let's say Isaiah Wynn makes the team. We try him at the right tackle position. He doesn't work out. But he was a pretty damn good left tackle. And those are facts. He wasn't great, but he was good. And he was better than anything that was in play in regards to, well, Brandon Shell did do a decent job. But when Teron Armstead went down last year, with the exception of Shell, I mean, there was nobody else that was stepping up in that left tackle position. So Isaiah Wynn could easily fill in that role when Teron Armstead goes down, and it will be good. 100%. But you do have to question the right side, because that's where we need it. And this is the problem that fans were having on social media yesterday. And again, these are fans, but, you know, look, this is what this show's part of, right? The pulse of the fans. And the pulse of the fans that I saw, the indicators that I saw yesterday from the fans, was exactly what somebody just said. Rick Spar, flea market shopping for offensive line. You're not even going to the discount, the outlet stores at the mall. You're going straight flea market shopping. I mean, you're going garage sale shopping. Forget the flea market. Flea market at least gets picked out of good stuff. Garage sale, it's a roll of the dice. You don't know what else, I know another person's trash is another person's treasure, and that's what we're hoping for here. And that is, by the way, Chris Grier's MO when it comes to anything. Now, if the Dolphins, to reiterate, go back and bring on Brandon Shell, bring on a Cam Fleming, and maybe bring in a DJ Fluker, they bring in any two of three of those guys, I'm clapping with the signing of Cedric Ogilvie and Isaiah Wynn along with those guys, because then I'm saying, all right, they're not just hoping, they're playing the odds. And the odds of all four of these guys failing are slim to none. One of these guys is going to work out, and maybe even two of them. But when you cut that with just these two guys, I don't know. And I'm an odds guy. I like the numbers. The more opportunities you have for something to succeed, I think the better opportunity you have at making something succeed. And Grier loves a good comeback story. Let's not get that twisted. He does love a good comeback story. So do these signings help improve the offensive line? I'm going to wait till the beginning of training camp before I say yes to that. Isaiah Wynn intrigues me because I know one thing about Isaiah Wynn. His talent is there, or was there at one point in his career. He had the goods. Because there is no way on God's green earth that Bill Belichick is going to make a wrong pick at offensive line. Doesn't happen often in his career. He's pretty good at making the right pick on the O-line. So Isaiah Wynn's got it. But through the injuries that he's had and the issues that he's had, and can he, bring himself to be good on the right side of the line? That's a wait and see game. We know last year we didn't see it, but last year he was also on the Jets. I mean, or on the Patriots, and that was a bad team last year. Ogilvy, same way. I don't know what it is with the Dolphins getting scrap heaps, whatever adjective you want to call it, from the Jets offensive line, a.k.a. Dan Feeney, a.k.a. Cedric Ogilvy. Was there, and by the way, it's not even people that played a big role in their stuff. It was just contributors who the Jets seemed perfectly fine with, or Nathaniel Hackett seemed perfectly fine with not re-signing or bringing back. I believe that Wynn is a much better idea for a backup to Teron Armstead, and which is great because Teron obviously has, the injury issues of his career. But we know if we get him for 13 or 14 games plus playoffs, we're good to go with Teron. And if Isaiah Wynn needs to step into the left tackle row for 3 or 4 games, I'm okay with that. I don't think anybody else will have an issue with that, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, would I love to see Teron play all games this year? I would, but, we'll have to see. And the other whole thing to all this is we're sitting here waiting for this post-June 1st money, not realizing that other teams are doing the same exact thing post-June 1st. Is there another offensive line that will become available June 1st, post-June 1st? Got to think there will be. Somebody of some value. To be honest with you, I look at Ogilvy and I look at Isaiah Wynn and I look at them saying, those are the worst case options that we have. Let's sign them. Let's bring them in the door. And God forbid they're a fail safe. And we just got to pray that one of them, if not both of them, work out. And I agree. Ogilvy, I believe, is more of a camp body than anything. But still, you never know, right? He is a former first-round pick. He could surprise you. Sometimes all people need is just a new place. We've seen that time and time again in the NFL, where people fail in one place, go to another team, bam, we're good. Manza said, surprised we didn't go for Leatherwood. I wanted Leatherwood in the draft. I was so high on Alex Leatherwood. He hasn't really panned out in his NFL career. No, I'm being optimistic. I'm not trying to sell ice to an Eskimo, Pete. I've said 2 things. I'm not in love with them, but I'm going to reserve grading this until I see what they do post June 1st. If this is all that they address when it comes to the offensive line before training camp starts, I will be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. But if they bring in, at minimum, a Cam Fleming, a DJ Fluker, then I'll be happy. If they bring both those guys, I'll be really happy. Why they didn't bring in Cam Fleming, I'm not sure. My guess is he wants a hell of a lot more than the $2.3 million that Isaiah Wynn got. DJ Sick Turtle. Shout out to DJ Sick Turtle, by the way, who's going to be at all three pregame and tailgates for all three locations. FedEx Takeover, Baltimore Beatdown, and Philly Invasion. Make sure you get your tickets, man. Go to tailgreeter.com, type in those things, and everything will come up. Steven, front office has a higher opinion of Jackson and Eichenberg than some of the fans. That's a fact. That's a true. That is, Manalo, you couldn't have hit the nail on the head better. But I will. You know what? Let me give you a little pushback, Manalo. Now that I think about it, somebody said this to me several weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know. And their comment was, and I think I remember having the debate on Hot Take Tuesday or Wildin' Out Wednesday, whatever it was on the show, and they said, Steven, do you think Chris Greer's pride has gotten in the way of somebody like Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg? And I was like, no, because I don't see Greer as having this egotistical thing. I just don't see that from him. But then I started to get this. I started to think about it afterwards, and I was like, this is interesting. Does Chris Greer have an ego? And if so, does that ego come in the form of, I know Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson are going to work out. We just need to take the time. And I gave myself room to be like, maybe it's plausible that could be the case. Because you just desperately want what you invested as a high round draft pick in those guys to work out. You want them to work out. You don't want to be labeled, because right now, look, Greer, the biggest knock on Greer, and there's a couple of them, but the biggest knock on him is you can't draft O-linemen. You've missed on some major picks. One of the biggest knocks, and I'm a Chris Greer supporter, just so everybody knows. Love Chris Greer, think he's good. The places where he's failed, I think he can fix those things. Personal opinion. Personal opinion of that. Now, to go back to my original point, I don't know where the Dolphins go. And so by bringing in somebody with low risk, high reward, if it doesn't work out that Liam Eichenberg or Austin Jackson look good, you can also play, and again, this is interesting, you can also make the theory of, I know these guys didn't work out, but look at the risk we took here, and it worked out. It paid off. I just don't see that is a theory that he is. I'm sorry. I still don't agree with that. Anthony Coleman with this $5 donation. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, Anthony. Says the only reason we got offensive tackles was just to make fans shut up. GM Chris Greer's pride has got the beat of him. He knows he failed. Man, Anthony, by the way, didn't even see that till I don't know if you put that why I was talking about it or not. I saw it come in a couple of minutes ago. I just wanted to finish my thought. I am opening myself to the idea that Chris Greer's pride has potentially, minutely, minuscule, gotten in the way of the offensive line issues because he wants so bad for Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg to work out. And by the way, it could be that we see something in these guys, they have it, we just can't bring it out of them, whatever the case is. But the reality of the situation is it hasn't worked out, right? It hasn't. So you have to take gambles on certain things. Now, is Cedric Ogilvie and Isaiah Wynn the gamble I wanted the Dolphins to take on the offensive line? No, it wasn't. I'm going to be real with you. But I do like the low risk, high reward of Isaiah Wynn. I do like that Isaiah can back up Teron Armstead if Teron Armstead goes down for a few games, because I know he can play the left side, but can you play the right, which is where we need help. This idea of moving him to guard, the only place I have personally seen that is through fans on social media. And there have been quote unquote beat reporters and people that follow the team that are like, there's been no indication that the team has said either one of these guys are moving a guard. These signings were made, potential right tackle positions. So we still have the issue at guard as far as I'm concerned. And to be fair, I don't see the Dolphins not addressing the offensive line even in more detail come post June 1st, because the money will be there and you never know who's going to get released come post June 1st. So I don't know. Offensive linemen are the easiest picks to hit on in the first round, and we've really busted. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. We have. We've really busted is what I can't really argue with. Can I say that it's the easiest picks to hit on? No. Offensive linemen are not a dime a dozen. You got to realize, like, one of my biggest issues with the idea of expansion in the NFL is where the hell are we going to get quality players at? Because right now I feel like the league is limited on the amount of quality. You dilute the product when you bring in more teams, right? And I don't necessarily want to get into that whole discussion, but you got to realize if you add 2 more teams, that's 10 more starting offensive linemen. That's 5. That's 10 more starting wide receivers. That's 4 more quality running backs in the NFL. That's 2 more starting quarterbacks in the NFL, right? I say all that to say this. I would argue that offensive line is one of the hardest to hit on. They're one of the reasons that the average tenure in the NFL is 3 years. Because it's a rotating list of people, a rotating door of people through the trenches. Go look at most teams in the NFL. There's maybe 2 or 3 whose offensive lines stay intact for a long period of time. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. All right, let me bring in my co-host for the day, my brother from another mother. He's a little under the weather. So am I, too. I don't know what. Must be something going around. Maybe it's that Dolphins offensive line sickness. I don't know. I hope I don't have what he has, and I hope he doesn't have what I have. Maybe we're allergic. Maybe we're allergic to winning. I don't know. I'm just messing with you guys. I love you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Hot Take Tuesday. Mr. Nando talk.
Mr. Steven, what is up? Everybody,
what's going on? How are you?
Hello. Sorry for the tardiness.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Just to let you know, because you and I haven't had a chance to really talk this morning. And for everybody, at 10:30 a.m. this morning, we are going to have Wes Goldberg on from Locked On Heat to discuss the Celtics-Heat series in basketball, which I'm pretty excited about. And so, and then we'll go back to the Dolphins talk, but don't stray away. We got all your stuff. Thursday morning, we're going to have Armando on from Locked On Panthers, Florida Panthers. So that'll be good too, man. And we should be good. We got a lot of stuff, man. South Florida sports is pretty big right now, man.
Things are cooking up, and it's looking very nice for South Florida sports right now.
So how are you what did you do this weekend, man?
Mother's Day, Dad's birthday. They always fall right back for me. So it's always it's a hectic weekend around this Mother's Day time. But it was, besides that, fine. Just started my summer semester as well, Stephen. So we're advancing, man. I'm happy. How can I be complaining right now? Life is looking pretty.
You passed all your classes? They passed you, Nando?
Almost all my classes.
See, Nando? See, Nando, you got to prioritize. It's clock blockers and then classes, okay? As long as you know that that's your priority, we're good. We're good, man.
I mean, yeah, man.
And if you need a note to the teacher, hey, look, I did clock blockers this morning. I couldn't come to class, or I couldn't do my homework for class this afternoon. Just I'll write a note to the teacher. Okay, I'll let you know.
Notes aside, man, I'm sure they'll accept him. How can I be complaining though, Steven, aside from all that? Because like you were just talking about, man. Panthers, Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Miami Heat, Eastern Conference Final.
That's
And the
crazy, right?
Dolphins, I like what you were saying about the offensive line, and like it is the hardest position. It is one of the hardest positions in the draft to hit. Okay, time and time again, we see teams. There's 4 or 5 top offensive linemen on the board, and they'll take Eric Fisher, number 1 overall. You'll take the dumb offensive tackle. You'll be like the Jets and go for Mekhi Becton, who's literally too big and his body's failing him already in year 2, year 3. You go to like the Dolphins, you get Austin Jackson. It happens. Offensive lineman is not a perfect science. No position in the draft is. But I like these veterans we got, Steven. Like you said, man, low risk, decent reward to be given. If any of these dart throws pan out, I'm excited for it, man.
I said, earlier in the show and in my spiel that are these the signings that I was looking for? No, they're but they are low risk, high reward, which is Chris Greer's MO when it comes to signing free agents, veteran free agents. He wants somebody that has had, a background that hasn't fared out too well for him, right? And so, or for them, whatever it may be, right? Whether it be injuries, whether it be them moving to a new position like Isaiah Wynn and it not working out, whatever the case is, that has been an issue. I don't know if I want to say an issue. I'll say, but I'll say it's definitely been something that Chris Grier does when it comes to bringing in veteran free agents.
Yeah, man, it's a weird narrative, like especially because he goes for those injury-prone guys or those guys who have like the injury concerns. Sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't. It's this. We want to see some bigger swings, of course, Steven, but at the end of the day, it's who's available on the market right now. Like you said, also post June
1st. Yep. You're on the same page.
Yeah, I was listening, following along, trying to recover. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be too off when I connected in with you, Steven.
So you agree with me. These signings are more of an indicator of best, worst. By the way, I'm getting feedback from you in here. I don't know what's going on, but I would say ultimately that these are an indicator of Chris Grier looks at this as hey, look, these are the best worst case scenarios and very low risk, very high reward. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't expect Isaiah Wynn to get $2.3 million in base salary. That's a lot of money for somebody who, in my opinion, struggled tremendously last year. And so that's also a clear indicator that they see him as somebody who's going to make the 53 man. You're paying somebody $2.3 million. He's going to make the team.
I mean, I'm a little delusional still, Steven, man. Like that's right. Like, you don't want to put yourself on the same page as me. You don't want to put yourself in the same boat as me, man. I still have faith in Austin Jackson, man.
You're still on that boat.
Yeah, man. I saw him and Igbo's ages again, man. Like I said, Igbo doesn't turn 24 till November. Austin Jackson doesn't turn 24 till August. I'm still on them. Okay, I'm still on our young guys. That's why I'm fine bringing in these veterans. Okay, yes, we'll make some moves. They're not the greatest moves. Maybe they're training camp guys. Maybe they make the 53-man roster. But between combining for these older shots, hoping some of our young shots still pan out, and then maybe making a June 1st move, man, like I'm okay with that. I'm not over the moon, but I'm not frustrated. I'm definitely not setting up the O-line as an excuse. I think that they've got a vision ahead. And I heard your pride point, Steven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's exactly pride in Grier, more of just that they think they have something. Maybe not pride, maybe more of just sticking to their guns. Again, I don't see a GM just being able to have this pride or being able to swindle the owner. Eventually that stuff gets you fired. Like if he was more concerned about if he was most concerned about his job, Steven, it's his pride isn't getting in the way and holding on to Austin Jackson, because that stuff will get you fired. Cutting bait early and saying, I messed up, I can do better though, that's what keeps your job. So I think Grier knows that and is risking his job on this stuff.
I agree. I feel like the kind of theory that people are putting out there about Grier and the pride thing, that is the kind of stuff that it ultimately is not going to lead to anything positive. I just don't see that being the case with him. Now, do I think he probably somebody did make the statement earlier, and as well as you just did, to a certain extent, that the team does have a lot more faith than 95% of the fan base does in Austin Jackson and Leon Eichenberg. They're still high on them. Do I think it's pride? I don't think it is. And I think it's fair that they have that. That's why they're the GM. That's why they're the head coach. But we are also, as fans, we need to see results, right? It's a results-based league. If 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, you got to go. If the math ain't working, it's got to go. Got to bring in new numbers to make the math work. And right now, Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson seem to be numbers that aren't necessarily fitting into the equation of what we want to equal to of a good offensive line for the Miami Dolphins. And when you sign Cedric Ogilvie and you sign Isaiah Wynn, and both of these guys have struggled tremendously in the last couple of years in some way, shape, or form, whether it be health, moving to a new position, whatever it is, fans are going to scratch your head and you're going to say, hold up, you guys have brought in Cam Fleming. You guys have brought in DJ Fluker. Taylor Lewan is out there for, potential. And I'm just throwing his name out there. I don't think, I get why.
I like Lewan.
I like Lewan too, but and that's its own bag of issues that comes with that, right? But the reality is Cedric Ogilvie is not the answer to our problems.
Steven, man, I'm not calling you out on this next point.
No, go ahead.
I'm talking about people in general. When we name offensive linemen and we name like positions, and I'm at fault of it too as well, because I love Taylor Lewan. At one point, I was like, we just plug Taylor Lewan in there, not taking into account his injury concerns, whether he even still wants to play football. The thing is, we did the same thing last year saying, why didn't we sign J.C. Treader? Why didn't we sign J.C. Treader? Why didn't we?
I remember that whole conversation. Yep.
We were banging on it for so long. And then it comes out that everybody in the NFL, except for fans, knew that Treader's knees were so shot that it was over. He retired and became the NFLPA president. The Players Association was the job for him. We were all convinced that was our starting center. That was our guy. We don't know jack squat, bro. We don't know anything.
That was the fans' narrative last. That's a good point, man.
Exactly, man. None of us DJ Fluker, Cam Fleming, Taylor Lewan. None of us have done a medical review on them. None of us have talked to them. None of them have met with their agent. We don't know their plan. We don't know dick, nuts, and squat, bro.
Or bolts.
At the end of the day, we have a lot of fan editors
or bolts about anything.
A lot of us think we have these fan editors that we get passionate about, and we strive for that to be the answer, the goal. And sometimes it's right. Sometimes a lot of us have football knowledge and we can ascertain what's going on in the league. But a lot of the time, something's going on behind closed doors, knowledge that we have no access to. There's a reason why NFL people work for the NFL and us fans are here. So let's not get too carried away. I'm just saying, let's have a little bit of faith, Let's not get too desperate and exasperated. We want results, Steven. I 1,000% agree with you there. But sometimes other people know more than we do.
100%, right? I agree with the scenario, with the observation that we as fans get hooked on a name and then say that name is the answer to our prayers. And if it's not that name, then fans are going to question any other name that's brought into that position when they're going to say, oh my God, he's right there for the taking and the Dolphins didn't do it. How dare they? How dare they? But to be fair, Nando, okay, even though the J.C. Treader thing is accurate, we can also go as far to say as, hey, look, and maybe that's not the best case scenario because Connor Williams did have a great PFF grade and for all intents and purposes was a really good center last year when it comes to blocking. But the reality of the situation is taking J.C. Treader, his name out of it, but the scenario of J.C. Treader into it,
No disrespect to you, Mr. JC.
No, it's what we've been trying to do has not worked. And so the people that we are bringing in, they're still not the answers to our prayers. They're still not the answers to what we need. And we're still being fed from the GM, who, by the way, for the record, I agree. I stand behind and want to see this thing play out with them, that they have this faith in a couple of guys that we haven't seen to be anything of what we hoped they were.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Greer thinks that, I'm a genius, master stroke. I found the next Joe Thomas out here and Isaiah Wynn, I'm going to flip him around. No, man. Like, he knows that maybe he's in plan A, maybe it's not even plan B, but it's a decent plan that you can work around with, that they can trot out with and hope for other things to fall June 1st. Again, we have no clue who's going to get cut. We have no clue what's going on around the NFL. We have inklings and rumors, and we can make some educated guesses, Stevens, and I love that. I love that.
Well, that's all we can do as fans.
That's what I'm saying. That's all we can do. But who knows, bro? Who knows if June 2nd there's a crazy offensive lineman being cut? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe
June 12th or June
12th. Yeah.
Or June 10th.
Maybe Austin Jackson has completely rechanged his body and his life, and he looks like freaking he looks like Joe Thomas out there. He looks like a little Aaron Donald stopper. Okay. You never know, bro.
Well, here's what I do know with the signing of Cedric Ogbuehi and Isaiah Wynn.
We've got some veterans.
The Dolphins are not 100% sold that they have the answers on the O-line. They're looking for low risk, high reward players.
And I also haven't seen anything about them moving to guard, Steven. I
me neither. I don't know where that. I do know where it is. It came from social media.
Well, it's
Omar Kelly has come out and is like, where did that come from? Jason Sarney, Daniel Oyefusi, Markel Jock. I think even Barry Jackson tweeted to, I don't know where this idea of him moving to guard is, but it ain't there. Like, well, that's a fan theory that came out on social media in the last 24 hours.
Well, it's a very big fan thing to say, I guess. Oh, that guy's not good at offensive tackle. He's slow, short arms, needs to beef up, isn't good enough to stop the best edge rushers. Move him into guard. He can play guard. He can play left tackle, move him to right tackle. He can't play right tackle, move him to left guard. A lot easier said than done. Okay. Moving in from right tackle to right guard is hard enough. Moving in from right tackle to left guard or left tackle to right guard, swapping sides on the line is literally asking them to invert their body language, something they've done for years. And then moving from tackle to guard or guard to tackle is the same thing. You're doing a complete different technique.
That's why Isaiah Wynn's PFF numbers look like crap last year, because he moved to a totally different side of the line of where he's played for the last several years between college and the NFL.
So did my boy Austin Jackson, huh? Set you up for that. You know, I mean, Austin Jackson's the same thing with him, bro. But I think there's a little bit more hope if he kicks into left guard. I think Wynn should stay at what he's done for most of his NFL career and play tackle. But if you're gonna move some guys around,
and by the way, I think he's if he makes the team and is a backup role, and God forbid, which look, indicators say that Teron Armstead will go down for a few games here and there. Isaiah Wynn can play that left tackle position, and nobody here should question it. It'd be like, all right, we're good. We still got Isaiah Wynn there. Not a big deal. We're good to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's. We're also talking about a line last year that was playing Larnell Coleman, Lester Cotton. We were decimated on the offensive line last year, Steven. We were playing absolute. I had to Google who Lester Cotton's name was the day of the playoffs, man. Like, at least if you could tell me, oh, snap.
He started the playoff game. He started the playoff game, Lester Cotton.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Like, who the hell is this guy?
That's what I'm saying. If you're telling me
who is this
wild card weekend
on this O-line in a playoff game in Buffalo.
That's what I'm saying, Steven. If at least in, let's say, same scenario, we're going to Buffalo, wild card weekend, we're banged up again, and I have to say we're playing in Cedric, or I've got to say we're playing in Isaiah Wynn, I feel a whole lot more confident than saying I'm playing Lester freaking Cotton. Okay, little stuff like that is where moves like this, where we're freaking out, oh, we didn't get a starter. Maybe we didn't get a starter. Maybe you made a great point, though, Steven. Isaiah Wynn can play left tackle, right tackle, fill in when needed when players eventually get banged up. I can sleep a whole lot easier.
Switching sides at OT is like trying to wipe your ass with the other hand.
Dude, it's hard, man. I broke my wrist. Okay, I broke my wrist, shattered my wrist. Okay, I had to learn how to wipe my ass with the other hand. Okay, dude, your toilet paper is designed a certain way so you can rip it out with one hand, not with your left hand, bro. No, it was terrible for me. Okay,
Nando,
switching the angles, everything, bro. For an offensive lineman, I love it. To be able to have to do that against Aaron Donald, against the Watts, okay, against the premier edge rushers in the NFL, Micah Parsons coming at you next year, stuff like that. I want him to play his natural position. All right, don't switch your position on the offensive line. Use your same hand to wipe your ass. Very simple.
Clemente says, I'm eating. Okay. Gabriel says, what were you doing, Nando? I just learned too much about Nando and his broken wrist. And now, like, it's hot take.
4 months, man.
Tuesday, and that was a hot take. Rick Spar said, did you wash your hands?
Always, baby. Always. Brushing my hands at the left. Brushing my teeth at the
happy birthday song while you're washing your hands. Okay?
It's crazy, man. It was so bad. So bad. Such dark memories.
Manzichel says, I broke my right hand and been wiping with my left ever since. I can't believe that's the topic we got into. Thank you for bringing this up now.
There are some
about this.
My left hand has become a whole lot more useful. That is definitely for facts, man. I can now eat with my left hand, which was not a thing before. If you told me I had to use a fork with my left hand, I looked like a 2-year-old learning how to write, man. So now I'm a whole lot more proficient at that, Steven.
All right. I can't with you this morning. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. All right. Big playoff series coming up this week. The Eastern Conference Finals. My man getting his old LeBron James Heat jersey. I should go get mine too, but I'm not going to do that to our guests and hold him up too much. Look, we got a great guest coming up. Locked On Family and Miami Sports Music. We've been doing a lot of stuff. We've had Armando from Locked On Panthers. We've had Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins, and we've had our next guest on here from Locked On Heat. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, Wes Goldberg. What's up, Wes?
Hey,
Good morning.
how's it going, guys?
How's it going, Wes?
They're good.
Nice to meet you, man.
Are you stoked? Are you excited for this week, man?
I'm so excited, not just because it's Heat Celtics and all the history and how much fun that's going to be, but I'm really excited for the Western Conference Finals starting tonight too. Lakers Nuggets. Like, this is I just got done recording Locked On Heat with my co-host David Ramil, and we were just talking about how psyched we are now that it's Tuesday and it's finally starting. We got the draft lottery tonight. We got the conference finals now. We're stoked, man.
Clemente says West Side. Is that a thing? Is that West Side a thing? I like that, Wes. I think we should use that.
It's been a thing since college, although it was a little bit of a different thing when I was in college. It had a different meaning. That was like West After Dark. I have a Substack called the West Side.
I like it. Cruz says Heat in 4. NBA has to relook at the superstar lineup strategy. We'll get into that in a minute. Here's what I want to get into, Wes, this morning. I want to validate the bubble. I just want to validate the bubble, Wes, because all 4 teams that are remaining in the NBA were the last 4 teams in the bubble. The Denver Nuggets, the LA Lakers, the Miami Heat, and the Boston Celtics. Can we now stop putting this narrative out there that the bubble was fake and anything that was won in there was bad? Can we just stop with that narrative, please?
I would hope so. I do wonder if it was ever really are there people actually saying that the bubble was a fluke still, or is this sort of like a straw man argument where everybody is
Wes, we're gonna be transparent now. Okay, look,
be transparent.
You might find some in this chat, Wes.
I am a LeBron James fan. I grew up as a LeBron fan. I grew up in North Carolina. College basketball was always bigger to me than NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start really getting into the Miami Heat, to be fully transparent, until LeBron went to Miami. Now, I've been a Miami Dolphins fan my entire life.
Okay.
Okay. And I love I'm straight into the Miami sports, and I'm rooting for the Heat, especially against the Celtics. Can't stand the Celtics. But I have to be honest with you and tell you I defend LeBron on a daily basis on my show and every other platform, social media. And everybody's like, the bubble doesn't matter. It didn't happen. It's a fake championship. I defend that constantly, West. And I said, look, Heat fan, especially to a lot of Heat fans too. Even people in this chat right now that are Heat fans are like, that's not a real champ. I'm like, if you guys had a one, you would have claimed it as a real championship.
Yeah. Look, everybody was in that bubble. That's how that championship was played. And so I never thought it was a fluke. I thought it was ridiculous that it had to be defended as such. But I do feel like, if people need any sort of validation that even the Heat's run wasn't a fluke, you don't even need to look at this year. Just look at the fact that it's been 3 out of the 4 seasons the Heat have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. The one year that they were not in the Eastern Conference Finals is when their offseason was 71 days long. That was the one year that they did not go to the conference finals, was after a 71-day offseason. That is not an offseason, okay? That's spring break, all right? It's never been a fluke. I don't understand why it would be a fluke that LeBron James and Anthony Davis went to the finals. That's a good Lakers team that a lot of people were picking that year anyway. The Celtics were a very good team, up and coming. They've been nothing but winning playoff series their entire Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown run. And the Denver Nuggets have a 2-time MVP in Nikola Jokic. I would understand if the Charlotte Hornets made the conference finals. And maybe you were like, that's a little fluky. Okay. Yep. I would be there with you. Okay. I don't think it's a fluke. I think it's ridiculous that people say it's a fluke. I think it's a boring, stale talking point. And I do hope that we could put it to bed. One other thing on the bubble and LeBron James, because I'm with you. I'm not a LeBron hater. I never have been. I've appreciated what it is that he brought to Miami. It was an amazing 4 years. He is the reason why I cover the NBA. Him and Dwayne Wade and that run were the reason I found myself. I thought in college, journalism student at University of Central Florida, I was going to be covering the NFL. That was my path. That's where I was going. I was a football writer. I covered the college football team at UCF. That was my path. And then football got really boring to cover and write about and talk about. And basketball got really fun and interesting to talk about because of that era. And so I have nothing but respect for that group. It would make the fact that LeBron won the bubble makes so much sense. The fact that he won the bubble championship. Let's just imagine that the bubble happened in 1997.
Yep.
And like somebody other than Jordan won the bubble championship. It would be really weird. It kind of makes sense that maybe the greatest player of all time, second greatest, wherever you want to put him, has the bubble champion. The one weird championship, the championship that doesn't exist like anything else, one weird one, he's got that. It makes sense that he's the one that has that, to me, from a historical context.
Wes, I just want you to know, every time you talk, I love you more and more. And
you're Steven's favorite guest of all time.
You are hands down the smartest man in basketball circles in South Florida. I don't care what anybody says, because you see it exactly verbatim how I see it. And I've tried to tell people this.
It's pretty spot on.
Look, I get like the Jordan LeBron thing. I put a lot of stock into and like to have that argument. And I understand, if I'm honest with myself, there's generational GOATs. There's no one GOAT. But I like to argue with people that LeBron is the GOAT over Jordan. But
it's a fun argument. That's what sports is all about. It's having that kind of argument.
I agree, and I love that argument. I love that debate. When I've seen the Heat, who, by the way, here's another crazy stat, Wes. Eric Spoelstra has never won Coach of the Year.
It's wild. It's
biggest robbery in sports. On the game the other day, and
we went back.
I had to go back. I was like, "What?"
We went back several. There were several years where he was in the running, right? He was a finalist, and I went back and I looked at all the years where Spo could have won and obviously didn't win, and whether he should have won. And there was only one year where it really stuck out, because it's not like no name coaches are winning these awards. It is a little strange that Mike Budenholzer has won 2 of them. It is a little strange that Tom Thibodeau has even won 2 of them. To me, Tibbs should have 1. I think he earned 1 of them. But even that one year was kind of the year that Spo should have won. It was 2012, where people were still very anti-Miami Heat, but the Heat had the best record in the NBA that year. And for the most part, even after that year, the Heat didn't really value the regular season as much. They were always more of like the 16 games over the 82 games. And so in that way, I do kind of understand, because so often you just, okay, what team has the best record in the NBA? That team usually has the front runner for coach of the year, even though that has changed a little bit recently. But Spo got robbed in 2012. Spo got robbed mightily last season when the Heat were the number 1 seed. That was the biggest one where he was robbed. So Bam Adebayo also got robbed for defensive player of the year, but it was
well, Bam.
Those are the ones that really stuck out.
Bam didn't show up in the playoffs either. I just want to throw that out there. Bam didn't show up that much in the playoffs.
But these are regular season
he
awards
has this year.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. It is a little weird how Spo has been so overlooked for those coach of the years. But we're gonna get to a point where he just wins one. He's just gonna get one, whether or not he even deserves it that
year or not. That's fair.
It's going to be a legacy one. It's sort of like how Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Voters kind of just threw their hands up and they were like, I don't know, maybe a guard should get it this year. He seems good. And so maybe there'll be a year where Spo gets it that way. And that's not to disparage Spo. I have been consistent on this. He's been the best coach in the league for the last half decade, probably longer than that. But he's in his bag right now. He's never been better at coaching basketball than he is right now. Like these last couple of years.
Do you think it's fair to say that Spo has brought out the best in Jimmy Butler? Because Jimmy Butler is playing the best of his career without undoubtedly an argument. And I would say that he has changed from the man that we saw in his prior team to the man that we've seen, especially this playoff run. He's just been, I'm going to tell you right now, he's the best player of this playoff run in all of the NBA.
I would say it's him or Nikola Jokic. But that's the 1-2 right there. And then in terms of whether or not this is the best he's ever been. I was actually just talking with somebody that's pretty close to Jimmy Butler. She said it's the happiest he's ever been. And I found that interesting. Awesome. And that's not a coincidence that if you're happy, you perform better at work, right? When your personal life and your work life are good, things are just good. You're going to perform better in both instances. You're going to be a better husband at home. You're going to be a better father if stuff's going well at work. You're just going to be happier. You're not going to be stressed out.
Better podcast host. I mean,
maybe even a better podcast host, perhaps. If your personal life is going well in Jimmy Butler's case, where he's living in South Florida, he's got the max contract that he wanted when he left Chicago,
and he deserved
absolutely. And he's traveling the world with his family and his friends, his closest people. He's got autonomy to be who it is that he wants to be in Miami. And with that, and specifically with the Heat organization, and he feels free. He feels good. He feels like he could be who it is that he wants to be. And you could see that is translated in the way that he plays. He's never played freer on the court where he could be Jimmy Butler playing in space, scoring 36 points a game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and then against the Knicks, scoring 20 points a game, but being a facilitator out of double teams. And he's like, whatever it is, I could just play how it is that I want to play in any given game, any given series. And he's always, no matter how he's playing specifically, he's always very impactful. And so, yeah, no doubt he's at his best right now. And I said it after the conference finals run last year, but I think we got to sort of dismiss the notion. He's not this guy in the regular season. That's okay. The guy, he drives 60 miles an hour in a 70 during the regular season.
Jimmy is definitely different than regular season Jimmy. No doubt about that.
That's going 95 in the 70, right? Like that's Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. And he's that guy that could be a number one guy on a championship team. I think that much has been proven. Even though he hasn't won a championship, it's clear that he is that guy.
I just want to go back real quick. I just want to get your thoughts on this real quick, because we were talking about coach of the year. The last 4 out of the last 5, or the last 5 now head coaches of the year have been fired from their team minus one. Mm-hmm. And so what's up with that? Why is the NBA all of a sudden, like, we're talking about guys who won championships in the last 2 years and now are fired?
Mike Budenholzer and Monty Williams were the coaches in the finals in 2021. Both of them are unemployed right now. Nick Nurse won a championship in 2019, And that's a little bit different because he had his own battles with that Toronto front office. He kind of wanted out just as much as they wanted him out, but he's without a job right now. Now, all three of those guys are probably going to have jobs next year. We'll see what's going on with Budenholzer and his personal family issues that he's been dealing with, and maybe he takes a year off. But Monty Williams and Nick Nurse, for sure, will be coaching some team next year, and they should. They're good coaches. Spo was asked about this, or actually he wasn't. He was asked about how many rookie coaches have had success this year, and he took that question at practice on Monday afternoon and just turned it into another, and just used that as a launching point to talk about how he is kind of having the same reaction you have about these coaches, these experienced good coaches getting fired. And I think it says a lot about the Heat that Spo is still there. It says a lot about Spo. He deserves to be there. But there was years where it wasn't sunshine and rainbows, man. Like, it wasn't always good years for Miami, especially after the Big Three era. And how many coaches have survived their job after LeBron left? The answer is one. It's Eric Spoelstra. That's it. Every other coach that LeBron has ever had got fired when LeBron left. And so it's a testament to the Miami Heat that they allow Eric Spoelstra to stay and tinker and the freedom to fail. That's the thing that coaches don't have anymore, is the freedom to fail. Monty Williams failed this year. That's a failure. Mike Budenholzer failed in that first round of the play. They failed at their jobs. Does that mean that they should have gotten fired? I don't know. But for Monty Williams, I was a little surprised. Now there's a new owner thing, and you have that whole dynamic. But you need, as a coach, an opportunity to fail and then adjust. And Spo has had that so many different times. And what he said that I thought was so smart. It is easy to reboot your scheme, your system, the way it is that you do things on the court. It's really hard to reboot a culture every other year. Yep. And that's what and having that baseline culture is what allows you to reboot your system and your thing. And I think people on the outside of these organizations that don't really have the inside knowledge that people in the media get to have is, you think coaching is just timeouts and X's and O's. It's not. That's like the tip of the iceberg. That's like 5% of coaching, like maybe. Most of coaching is just organizational principles and culture, business, workplace stuff. All right. That's most of coaching, relating to players. That's all. That's most of it. And so when you're constantly rebooting that part of it and trying to restart 95% of it because you're like, well, I just want our team to run faster, fire the coach. No, that doesn't make any. That's not
the answer to your prayers.
Right. And so I do think, I'm not saying that every coach should just have like carte blanche, stay as long as you want until you get it fixed. You know, Stan Van Gundy had to get fired for Eric Spoelstra to have his job. The Warriors had to fire Mark Jackson to get Steve Kerr. Greg Popovich almost got fired his first year by the Spurs, and they stuck with him. But they had to fire the guy before Greg Popovich for him to get there. Like, coaches have to get fired to find the right answer. I just think that teams are very bad at, number one, identifying coaches and that talent. And number two, and probably more importantly, not giving that coach an opportunity when you think you have the right coach after just a few seasons.
I agree. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Our guest this morning, Locked On Heat host Wes Goldberg, and we are talking and previewing what will be the third time in 4 years Celtics versus Heat Eastern Conference Finals. Wes, why are these two teams in the Eastern Conference Finals again, and what do you think about this matchup?
I'll start with the Celtics. They're a really talented team. They've got two top 20 guys, a top 10 guy in Tatum, a top 20 guy in Jaylen Brown, and they've got a really balanced roster that they just keep adding talent to, right? Grant Williams was a big part of their rotation last year. He's like not even in the rotation at the end of that Sixers series because they got Malcolm Brogdon now. They just keep adding more and more talent. So credit to the Celtics. The Heat are in it because they just have figured out a way to win in the playoffs. And we already talked about Eric Spoelstra and how he's just coaching master classes around Mike Budenholzer. He's out coaching Tom Thibodeau. And there's just not a series where Spo's going to get out coached. There's just not. And so I think that's a big advantage, not necessarily in the regular season, but in the playoffs, you see that being a real big advantage. But the regular season is a part of that, right? You get to the playoffs through the regular season and you learn things about your team. And Spo is really good he's probably the best at learning about his team throughout a regular season in the league. And then Jimmy Butler, I think that's just a big part of it is when you just have that guy. We're even seeing it in the Western Conference. If you've got a guy like AD or LeBron, it just gives you a chance to get there. It just gives you a chance to get there. And Jimmy Butler is that guy for the Miami Heat. So there's just institutional knowledge by both of these teams. Once you get there, it's not to say that it's easier to get there again. I'd argue it might be even harder to go through that grind again. But if you're willing to go through that grind like the Miami Heat are, and you embrace that grind and you embrace all of those ups and downs of a season, then by the time you get to the postseason, you kind of know who you are. You know what it is that you want to do. And the Heat they have won so many playoff series over the last few years that it's, again, not easy. I hate to use the word easy because it's so hard to win in the playoffs, but it's easier for them to win a playoff series than it is for a team like even the Philadelphia 76ers who can't make it to the conference finals, right? Like they just have a hard time wrapping their mind around closing out a series where the Heat it's almost second nature to them because they're so practiced at it.
Sixers are soft too. Like the Heat are anything but.
In other words, yeah, a easier way to say what I just said. Yeah.
Go ahead,
The less
Nando.
eloquent way to say it, Wes, but you hit it spot on, man. Like it's the stability that the Heat bring, man. The veteran presence, the culture in itself is just so awesome to watch night in, night out. It just these last couple of years in itself, we don't have maybe the greatest team on the court, but the fact that we can fight and hang with anybody and actually close out series, it's a fun team, man. I'm excited for this.
I think back to Kevin Love and his decision to sign with Miami over Philadelphia. And I asked Doc Rivers about this when the Sixers were in Miami about Kevin Love. And he said, we really wanted him here. And nobody really knew what Kevin Love had to offer because he wasn't really in the rotation for Cleveland. You're like, what has this guy got left? He's coming off the broken hand injury and all, or hand or thumb, whatever it was.
What's left in the tank?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't really know. And Doc Rivers basically, and I thought this was so smart. He said, it doesn't really matter. You want that guy, either if he's starting for you or he's not playing at all, you want a guy like that in your locker room because of his experience and all these things. And he might just give you a few minutes in the playoffs, but a few minutes can decide a game, can decide a series, right? And so when the Heat brought him in, obviously they ended up starting him, but it was an up and down regular season for him, even with Miami. He was in the starting lineup, he was out of the starting lineup, but then the playoffs roll around and he just has this innate knowledge of those finals runs with Cleveland from that, how it is to win in the playoffs, how to kind of take advantage of the game on the margins and all these things. And that is what kind of separates players and teams. Draymond Green always says this. So you've got 82 game players and 16 game players. And Kevin Love for a long stretch of his career was both. He's a Hall of Famer. But right now at this point of his career, he's a 16 game player. And he just have a lot of those guys, him, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, all these guys.
So let's kind of get into what a 7-game series might look like. Last year, we went toe-to-toe with them and ended up losing in game 7. What do the Heat have to do this year so that they're not, A, getting to a game 7, and or B, if they do, what is going to be the difference from this year from last year that will help the Heat get over the hump against the Celtics?
They need to differentiate their offense a little bit. Last year, it was Jimmy Butler shouldering the entire scoring load, making impossible shot after impossible shot, getting to the foul line a million times. And that's just not going to work because it didn't work last year. It got him to game 7, but it didn't get him to the finals. So ultimately, it wasn't enough, right? And they need to differentiate their offense, and they know that. It's why they pursued Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant during the offseason. Would have been an easy fix to that. And it's why they basically revamped their entire offensive system this year. It's why they asked Bam Adebayo to be more of an offensive scoring option, develop that little free throw line jumper, get to the rim a little bit more, develop his isolation game, off the dribble game. That's why they wanted him to do that. It's why they elevated Tyler Hero to the starting lineup before the season. Even if it wasn't the cleanest fit right away, they knew that they needed another scoring option when it got to this point in the playoffs. And so obviously, Tyler Hero with the hand injury is not available, but Bam's going to have a big series. They're going to need, obviously, a big series from Jimmy. That's goes without saying. But also, they need to make threes in a way that they didn't in the conference finals last year. Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Kevin Love. That's on those guys. They just need other sources of offense to keep their offense out of the mud and to make sure it doesn't all have to be on Jimmy.
Where do you see that coming from this series? Like, what's the area we can attack the Celtics with those guys? Obviously, we need Jimmy to perform, but who's going to pop up for us?
I'm looking number one at Bam. It's got to be with Bam, and I was so interested to watch that Sixers Celtics series because of how it is that the Celtics guarded Joel Embiid, because Embiid and Bam Adebayo like to start possessions on offense right around the same place. Yep. They like to start at the nail, that foul line area on the court, and then kind of go from there. Joel Embiid is always going to try to get to that 15-footer. That's his jumper. That's a layup for him. He makes it at a way higher rate than Bam Adebayo makes it. Bam is above average at it. Joel Embiid is Kevin Durant at it. I mean, those are the numbers. So
Much higher clip, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where he wants to get to. Bam wants to kind of mix it in. He wants to get that foul line jumper a little bit, but he also once he kind of gives you that, once you as a defender have to respect that after he gets you with it a couple of times, he wants to put the ball on the ground and then just get to the paint with a clean dunk, right? And so that's where it's going to start with Bam. But the Celtics were cool just having Horford single cover Embiid in that series, in that spot. I'll be interested to see if they're willing to do the same thing with Bam, because calling Embiid a finesse player doesn't feel right because he's like 300 pounds and enormous, but he doesn't really want to put the ball on the ground and get all the way to the basket. He kind of does want to settle for that 15-foot. He's really good at it, so it's not necessarily settling. Bam wants to kind of get to the rim a little bit more. And so can he kind of get Al Horford off his spot a little bit? Can he shake him? Can he keep him guessing a little bit more than Embiid did? Is something that I'm just mixing it in, different pitches, for Bam Adebayo. That's kind of what I want to see from him.
All right. So
I love that, man.
Me too. I hope that's the case. And I was even saying in a private conversation last night, I said, if the Heat are going to win, it's going to be Bam that brings them there, because they can't just rely fully on Jimmy Butler to do it. There's no way.
They said that before the season.
Yeah.
They said that. They said, we're going to go as far as Bam and Tyler, who again is hurt, are going to take us, because you know what you're getting.
How do you replace Tyler in this series?
Shooting from Max Strus and Duncan Robinson, and then you're going to need a bigger offensive series from Gabe Vincent than you got from Gabe against the Knicks. Now, Gabe had his hands full with picking up Jalen Brunson full court for 40-plus minutes a game, so I understand why he didn't have a great offense. Yeah, he was
great defensively.
One of the most important players for Miami in that series. But in terms of just replacing what Tyler was giving you on offense, you're going to need Gabe to be a little bit more like what he was against Milwaukee, coming off of those screens. If Boston goes under on those screens, he has to be quick with the trigger to pull up and launch from 3-point range. So you're gonna need Gabe to replace some of the ball handling that Tyler Hero obviously brings you, especially in the pick and roll. And it's gonna be a big Kyle Lowry series too. That Kyle Lowry Bam Adebayo pick and roll, that was clicking at the end of that Knicks series. They're gonna need a lot of that too.
Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. We're talking with Wes Goldberg of Locked On Heat, of the Locked On family. Hey, man, let me ask you, what is your prediction of the series, man? Let's get your early prediction of the series, and then we'll talk a little bit briefly Lakers and maybe some Dolphins talk, because I know you're a Dolphins guy, and then we'll get you out of here. But what is your prediction for this series for the Heat?
This is a really tough one to pick. The Celtics have home court advantage. My official pick is Heat in 7. I understand that the Celtics have home court advantage. I don't think that that's going to keep the Heat from winning in Boston. These teams have seen each other at this stage and been in these arenas in the conference finals so many times. Like, you could argue that Boston is Miami's home away from home, and Boston vice versa, right? Boston beat Miami a bunch of times in the conference finals last year in Miami. So I think home court advantage is not going to matter as much in this series as it is in the Western Conference, for example. And so I think that the Heat could win this one in 7 games if they have to win that final game in Boston. And so and the one thing I will keep saying is, the longer this series goes, the more it plays into the strengths, despite the fact that Game 7 is in Boston, the more it plays into the strengths of Eric Spoelstra, because you're giving him more and more time to tinker and to strategize and to outcoach a rookie coach in Joe Mazzulla. And on his end, it's just more and more exposure for a rookie coach in the conference finals, where there's more and more potential for him to maybe make a mistake late in the game that could cost the Celtics a game. So I'm not necessarily predicting that's going to be the case, what swings the series, but I will say, when you're talking matchups and all the advantages between the Celtics and the Heat and vice versa, I think the biggest gap between one matchup and the other is Miami's coach versus Boston coach. And that's not even really disparaging Joe Mazzulla. I think he's done an okay job with the Celtics this year. It's more of a credit to Eric Spoelstra. So the longer the series goes, I think that serves Spo well.
I'm gonna one up you and say that on top of the 7-game series for the Heat, they have to win twice in Boston. I think they have to win twice in Boston in order to win this series.
Because you think Boston's going to get one in Miami?
I do 100% think that's going to happen. And I think this is easily such a better matchup than the Nuggets Lakers series, in my opinion. This will be 10 times more fun to watch, and it's on TNT, which I'm super excited about because I don't have to listen to Jeff Van Gundy like I will for the Lakers series. I'm so disappointed about that. I get to listen to Reggie Miller, which I love. I love listening to Reggie.
A little Heat in 7 would be beautiful, bro. I am wearing the LeBron jersey, so Heat in 6 would be pretty fun, and I could see it in the corner of my eye, Wes.
Now that would be fun considering they retired the number 6 this year for the Celtics, and I don't know. You might be onto something, Nando.
Like back and forth. The Heat, like you said, Wes. The Heat, Celtics home court advantage doesn't matter. They're going back and forth. Heat are up 3-2 in the series, going into Miami, and Celtics fans go, "Hey, this is it. We're gonna win in Miami 3-3. Then we'll go to Boston, win in Celtics in 7, and the Heat win it in 6." That'd be
the 6 is the lucky number this year for the Heat, not the Celtics, Wes.
But Heat in
All
7
right?
is a lot more realistic.
Can I throw one more storyline at you for this?
I'm down for it. I love storylines.
First year the NBA has instituted the Larry Bird Trophy for the Eastern Conference MVP. How sweet would it be for a Miami Heat player, Jimmy Butler, to win the inaugural Larry Bird Trophy by beating the Boston Celtics in 7 games in Boston? I'm just going to put that out there.
I want nothing more.
Wes, that would be pretty awesome.
You know who would love that the most?
Jimmy Butler standing on the Celtics court receiving the Larry Bird Trophy to go to the NBA Finals would be everything.
Power rankings of people who would appreciate that moment the most. Pat Riley, number 1, no doubt. But Jimmy Butler, number 2, would have an absolute ball with that. His Instagram the next morning would be lit. It would be like going around every Boston bar, showing off the Larry Bird Trophy.
Hey guys, check out. It'll be much better than John Morant's Instagram. Oh, did I go there? Did I go there? Okay. I didn't mean to go there, but I did. All right, man. Let's get into just a couple more topics while I got you on. I appreciate you coming on here today too, man.
It just brightened my day, man.
Lakers. What do the Lakers need to do? Here's the reality. I want to see the Lakers in the Western Conference Final because of LeBron, but I also don't want to see Denver in the NBA Finals. I'm sorry. I'm just not excited about Denver. Nothing excites me about them.
The Joker, Mr. Jokic?
I know, I get it, but I mean, that's all that they have, in my opinion. Look, I can admit I have not watched many Denver Nuggets games this year. I have watched them this year in the playoffs, but they've to be fair, they've dominated both series, right? It hasn't even really been much of a matchup in the 2 series that they played. And the Lakers, hands down, are the best matchup for them because AD needs to have a big series. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, if Denver goes to the finals, the NBA Finals ratings are going to go down.
Well, the NBA office wants Lakers Celtics, no doubt about it. I think they would be
okay with Lakers Heat.
They would be okay with Lakers Heat.
Yeah.
The nightmare scenario is Denver Miami for the NBA. But I will say this: I love watching the Denver Nuggets, and I love watching Nikola Jokic. I know a lot of Heat fans don't like Nikola Jokic because of shoving Markieff Morris and that whole incident last year. I do not care about that. He is a joy to watch. I am so excited for this Lakers Nuggets series. I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup. There are so many X's and O's. How is it that Anthony Davis is going to guard Jokic? Is Anthony Davis going to guard Nikola Jokic? Or are they going to have him play off and kind of be help defender in the paint and take away? Because the thing about Jokic is he's making plays up high on the floor for all of Denver's cutters. So do you just plant Anthony Davis by the rim and vaporize all that cutting that the Nuggets are trying to do backdoor? There are so many X's and O's things that are so interesting for a basketball nerd like me to really carve into in this series. I have no idea who's going to win this series. I have no idea who to pick. Lakers, Nuggets. Like a Lakers fan can
whoever wins game 3 wins the series. It's 85%, whatever, 83% of the time whoever wins game 3 wins the series. But I have no idea about this.
I mean, I don't even know about that because I would never count out Jokic or LeBron from coming back from 3-2 or whatever. Like I wouldn't. 2-1 in that case.
You know who I believe that the Lakers need to play more? Hachimura. And if they do not play him more than they played him in the last series, is not good. Like, I was really
Really?
upset with the playing time that he got in the last series because I thought he should have played a lot more than what he did. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Hachimura, up and coming star in the NBA. Don't care what anybody says.
Best
That
name
kid
in the
is a
league.
monster. Love him. Love him.
I've been a Hachimura guy since he was drafted by the Wizards. I just think I love his physical profile. I like his personality. I had a chance to talk to him a couple times.
That's awesome.
I'm with you. I like Hachimura. He's going to be basically their backup center, I think, in the series. Like, how often do they go small? The Nuggets could go small with Aaron Gordon at center, Jeff Green at center, however you want to define who the center is in that group. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start with the series? I mean,
Look, I think the Lakers have to dominate game one and make a statement, because if the Denver comes out and puts them behind the 8 ball with having home court advantage, that's not good for the Lakers. And granted, they just beat the defending champions in 6 games. And I get that. But to be perfectly honest with you, there was only 7 quarters in that entire series that the Warriors were better than the Lakers, because the Lakers straight dominated. Go look at all the quarters. 7 quarters in that entire series, Warriors were better than the Lakers. And that's why they won the 2 games. The Denver Nuggets, look, AD dominates. It might be a quick series.
No, it's going to come.
Jokic, guess who's not the Joker?
They need Anthony Davis to be as dominant as he was against the Warriors.
100%.
Anthony Davis changed that series. He was able to take away everything at the basket. He was blocking everything. He was able to switch out onto Steph Curry and those pick and rolls that the Warriors tried to do. If Anthony Davis can take away the middle of the court, like he was able to take away the middle of the court against Golden State, then yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for the Lakers. But Jokic is unlike anybody that exists in the NBA, maybe ever. He could shoot it from 3. He could pull you away from the basket. If you're Anthony Davis, he could match you in the paint. Like, the Warriors didn't have anybody with that size. Like, Jokic is a big boy, dude. That is a big
freak,
loaf
man.
of bread of a basketball player.
Lakers just need to steal 1 game in Denver, and they got it, because I don't see Denver winning in LA.
I think Denver can win in LA.
Don't count out Jamal Murray, man. The home.
Jamal Murray is a playoff guy. They've got the best starting 5 in the NBA by net rating. I think this is gonna be. I think this series goes 7 games, and I have no idea who to pick.
Yeah, I could definitely see both series going to 7, man. Like,
I pray that it doesn't go to 7, because
and it might even go 8.
Forbid it does for the Lakers and they win. I don't see the Lakers beating the Heat or the Celtics after a 7-game series with the Nuggets. No way. They would be too exhausted. They would be behind the 8 ball.
Well, that's the big thing with the Lakers, is, are they already exhausted, right? Because I know they only played 6 games against Golden State, dude. But that was an up and down. The Lakers also need 3 or 4 like vintage LeBron bully ball games. Because if LeBron can just go full pick and roll in the middle of the floor, dragging Denver's weakest defenders, getting Jokic in foul trouble, that's a big
They'll
part
win
of
all day with that.
It's just, how many times can LeBron do it? He's on a bad right foot. Can he do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times?
Can you answer me something? Why doesn't more players in the NBA, period? For years, I've been a LeBron fan, right? And I've always said, if you just go to the hole, you will get fouls and the game will be over. But LeBron, one of my biggest pet peeves about LeBron is he wants to shoot these 3s this year for some reason. And it bothers the hell out of me, because I'm like, if you just go to the hole, you're going to win. How many people are going to dominate LeBron James going to the hole? There's only a couple that can do it. And even if he does, he can still push it out. And you still have Lonnie Walker, who, by the way,
he'll break down, Steve. He's old.
And University of Miami product, by the way. And look, I think the Lakers are the better team by far. By far.
It's what he has left the tank, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that. I think I've had Nuggets as the title favorite since the start of the playoffs, so I've been a big Nuggets guy. But I've also watched maybe as much Nuggets as any other team outside of the Miami Heat this year. Like I said,
you're high on them.
I'm very high on them, and I've been high on them all year.
They're a good team.
I picked them before the season. To make Bucks Nuggets was my finals pick before the season. I To answer your question, why more players don't, it's really hard. It's just hard to do it a lot. And that's why LeBron doesn't do it as much as he used to when he was a physical freak. He's still a physical freak, but in a different way. He's
older.
shooting more threes because he's older and he needs to maintain his body. And it's so interesting to watch LeBron in these playoffs because he understands that better than anybody else.
Load
understands
management,
it.
Braun.
And he has been in so many playoffs. There is there's sort of an instinct from a young player in the NBA to just go full out in the playoffs. It's the playoffs. I'm hyped. Let's go. Let's go all out every game. We got to win every game. We got to try to sweep these fools. Like that's what every young NBA player is trying to think. The reality of an NBA playoff series is that you only have to win 4 of the 7 games. You don't have to win all 7 of them, and you don't have to win 4 in a row. You just have to win 4 out of 7. And LeBron understands that because he's been in a million of these things, that he could pick his spots even in the middle of a playoff series. He said he could go out early in a game and be like, hey, do my teammate, because he also understands he's not going to win it by himself. It's not 2016 LeBron anymore carrying a bad Cleveland Cavalier, or 2017. But
you're not wrong. You're not
right,
wrong at all.
right. He's not that version anymore, right? So he needs Anthony Davis. He needs a Lonnie Walker 14-point fourth quarter. Like he needs that. But he could go out there early in a game and say, all right, do we have it tonight? Because if we have it tonight, like we as a collective Lakers, then I'll go full out. I'll be LeBron that we need me to be. If we don't have it tonight, I'll take my foot off the gas a little bit. We'll coast. We'll see if we have a chance in the fourth quarter. We'll all turn it on. But that's basically how LeBron is playing this.
You think you can feel that?
I think he can absolutely feel that. He has an instinct about his team, and he understands that balance better than any player that's ever played this game, probably, because he's been doing it. So he's been doing
I've
it.
ever seen.
He's been doing it longer than anybody else has done it at this level.
Smartest. If you won't give me that he's the greatest people, you have to give me he's the smartest.
I wrote this piece probably 10 years ago now, 8 years ago, for this thing called The Cauldron, which was like a Sports Illustrated like featured offshoot thing with like long form writing. I don't think it exists anymore, but whatever. The point was that LeBron's whole marketing campaign should be around his basketball IQ, not around his freakish athleticism. Because we have seen so many athletic freaks come and go through the NBA who did not accomplish what it is. LeBron isn't one of the 2 greatest players of all time because he's a physical freak. There's been a lot of physical freaks. It's because of what it's between the years. That's why he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And I always thought that his marketing campaign should reflect that more than like being cool or even like being a physical freak. Or nowadays it's all about being a businessman, whether it's like AT&T in a suit looking out a window like he's an extra in Succession. But he's
the first $1 billion athlete.
I mean, totally. But and like that's awesome. Like that part of it's cool. But yeah, I agree with you. Long story short,
there's a video that's trending on social media right now of him with Cleveland playing against the Warriors, and the Warriors kicking out the play to the 3 where Steph Curry drives to the rim but kicks it out to the 3-point shooter, and they did it against when he was with Cleveland, and they killed him with that. Well, there's a video that matches up sync, same exact play, and this time you see LeBron telling his teammate before the play even goes, go to the outside. That's where they're going. And that's how they ended game 6 against Golden State. And I'm looking at it like LeBron knew that was the play before it even transpired. Like in that moment, that's a huge moment to have the wherewithal to tell your teammate, leave the guy that you're covering right now and go to this position on the floor, because I promise you that's where he's going.
It's the hammer play. That was the hammer play that the Warriors run all the time. Steve Kerr loves to run that play at the end of games because you have 2 different options. You have the 3-point option with one of his great 3-point shooters. You got the cutters, whether it's Andre Iguodala in the past or Kevin Durant even in the past or Andrew Wiggins now. Like it gives everybody the options. And like you said, LeBron knew it. He's seen it so many times. How many times has he played the Warriors in high-stakes playoff games? He's seen it so many times.
Hundreds.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
All right.
So
go ahead, Nando.
Given that, LeBron's IQ, his load management, his sense of feeling of when he has to turn it on, when he can maybe let it cruise until the fourth quarter and see what the team lies at. Assume this series goes to 7. Assume the finals goes to 7 as well. Obviously, in this world, Lakers making it 14 games. How many of those would LeBron have to turn it on for, you think? Like, obviously, like 8, But I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
do you think he can like handle 8? You know, in a 14-game stretch?
I'm done doubting him.
But now
I don't I don't doubt him. I don't doubt him, man. Like, and by the way,
Can you do more
LeBron's a
than
big
8?
part of it. What?
Can he do more than 8? I mean, that makes no sense, actually.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on the right foot that's been bothering. But Anthony Davis is such a big part of this too. They need both of those guys to be healthy. They need both of them. They can't just have one of them. They need both of them to be playing at a certain level for them to win the championship this year.
I agree. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. Wes, you're a big Dolphins fan, right?
I am.
Just give me your thoughts about the offensive tackles that they signed the last couple of days, and what do you want to see the Dolphins do come post June 1st?
I'm okay with the general signings they made. The offensive tackle, like, I get it. Buy low. You get a young guy, wins what, 26, 27 years old, like former first rounder. I get it. Like, it's a fine risk, low risk, high reward kind of thing. Does he pop? Can he this is a guy who could play both tackle spots, at least theoretically, if he's not tearing his Achilles. But I'm okay with the offensive line. I think it's made progress. I've always said a big thing in offensive line play is chemistry and just getting to know each other. And this group has played together now for a few years. For the most part, there's been some pieces in and out. They need Armstead to stay healthy. He's going to miss games, but how many games is the question with him. So I'm good with it. I just love their offense in general. I think they're adding so much speed. You add speed in order to counteract maybe some deficiencies on your offensive line, because if your guys just get open faster, then you need your line to protect for a shorter amount of time. That seems obvious. So, and they just keep adding fast guys. They're like, hey, do you run really fast? Cool. Hired.
They can have an Olympic track meet with the speed that they have on offense. It's crazy.
And beat most countries, right? They would
Hands down.
They would beat most countries in the Olympics. So I'm so excited for this Dolphins season. I am. Look, they scored 35 points with their third string quarterback in the playoffs last year. So if Tua could stay healthy at the right times, he's going to miss games too, but they've got Mike White, who's a better backup than Teddy Bridgewater is. I love what this team is doing. And more than anything, the excitement of the offense is the biggest thing. I might go to my first Dolphins game in like 15 years this year. I have not been in a Dolphins game.
Come through.
Let us know, man. You come hang out and party with us at East 32. We'll take all you can drink, all you can eat, all inclusive, man. Come. We got you.
East 32 is a section?
East 32 in Hard Rock Stadium out in the parking lot. We're taking care of you. You just got to come on the pregame show, the Tail Greeter pregame show we do out there for like 5 minutes, and I'll take care of you, man.
Boom. Done. Let's make that happen. Yeah, I'm super excited for the Dolphins this year. And more than anything, just it feels like they have a plan, man. Like they have an actual plan. It's not just like in the past, like, oh, Brandon Marshall, let's just sign you. Like, and then like, I'm not, nothing against Brandon Marshall, but it just didn't feel like there was another part of that plan. It was just like, let's put a wide receiver.
That's what I've been saying.
They finally have a plan, whether it works or not, whether they win a Super Bowl, whether they make the AFC Championship game, whatever. I don't know. Nobody knows. But I love that it just finally feels like there's this like cohesive idea and strategy and like a 6-month, 12-month, 3-year plan kind of thing. Like I don't know the last time that you could say that happened for the Dolphins. So I'm just really excited. I feel good about where the organization is right now.
What is Big Daddy the line? He has a 5-year plan. What is it? Don't die? Yes, that is the Dolphins right now. Hey, Wes, man, last question I have for you, and then I want you to tell everybody where they can find all your content. Potential 16 straight days of Panthers Heat. Your thoughts on that, and along with that, is it possible that the Panthers go to one Heat game, some of the players, and is it possible that the Heat go to one Panthers game? Because I think that game 3 and 4 matchup, I think it'll be able to happen for both teams to go support each other. I would love to see it.
Heat players have already been to a few Panthers games, so I think we could see that happen again. In terms of the Panthers, it's a little bit of it's a different, it's reverse commute going from Miami up to Sunrise. It's a little bit of a tougher commute to get from like Sunrise and that kind of area down to Miami for those Heat games for the Panthers players.
They need to support each other, Wes.
I would love to see Kachuk courtside. I would love to see him courtside. So
along with Mike McDaniel and Jalen Ramsey,
rubbing in the Boston fans' faces right there.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, and like Panthers fans or Panthers players have already beat a Boston team, so they probably have some tips for Miami in this series.
I think that the Heat should fly into the Boston Celtics go on into the stadium with Panthers jerseys and just really silence.
Oh
the
my
freaking
God.
Boston
Could you
crowd,
imagine
man.
that's how they fly out to
That's
Boston?
a wonderful. That's actually a really good idea.
Well,
Man,
one
I
South
love that
Florida
idea.
team already
Man,
stole your
Wes,
soul.
can you-
It's time
can
for the
you, like,
second one to come.
Can you talk to somebody over in the Heat and tell them
Yes,
they need to wear Panthers jerseys on a plane ride to Boston?
I'll mention it to the PR folks. Maybe they can
And
make it
give
happen.
Nando all the credit
Of course,
because that's
that's a good idea.
amazing
That's
if
a
that
really good idea.
Mental warfare, Mr.
huge
West.
troll if it
And
happens.
really get Celtics fans pissed off, which is great.
Oh my God, I would love it.
Yeah, there's nothing like a red-faced Bostonian just to make you laugh. I will say this about the Panthers: really hard to find a hat online, like just a navy blue hat with the new logo.
Guy, and I don't have one because I can't find one.
So Florida Panthers, maybe fix that. I don't know.
Beanies, but not really hats, man.
No, I just want that clean navy blue 47 brand hat with the new logo on the front. Why is that so hard to find?
Wes, I got you, man. If you let the Heat know about the Panthers idea, my buddy works with the Panthers. I will see if I can get you a navy blue 47 logo hat. I got
Make
it.
that, all right, perfect.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
that. Let's make
Wes,
that work.
can we have you on next week, man? When we get deep into this playoffs a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
My man.
47
Tell
logo,
everybody
navy
where they can find
hat.
you, Wes.
Twitter, Instagram at WC Goldberg. Listen to the daily Miami Heat podcast, Locked On Heat. We have recaps of every game in the series. If there's not a game happening, we have an episode every day on those off days between games. We're doing great work over there, so just check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wes Goldberg of Locked On Heat. We got the entire Locked On family here on Clock Blockers here at Miami Sports Music. Wes, thank you so much for coming on, and let's go Heat.
Absolute
guys.
pleasure, Wes.
Love that guy. He's awesome.
Dude, that was sick. Now I'm pumped, man.
Are you ready for some playoffs, man? Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, Nando, if they show up in Panthers jerseys on a plane or to the garden,
Dude, could you imagine
You're
if they
legendary,
walked into
bro.
the garden?
you're legendary. And we're clipping this, and I'm making a video, and it's going viral. And
Oh.
Nando,
I just think it'd be hilarious. You know, nothing would be funnier than watching the little Boston fans freak out, storm the Twitter masses, freak out in the garden, man.
oh wow.
Wow.
I'm mad he just left. That's big. Breaking news: Doc Rivers fired as Philadelphia Sixers head coach.
Yeah, the process is over, man. Wow. What's
Wow.
up, that, man? That's crazy.
Is Doc Rivers get another job? I don't know if he does. I think this might be it for him. Real talk. I do. I think
How
this-
old is he?
he's coached a few different teams, man, these last several years. And I don't know if he gets another job anymore. Like, I think you tried, your run is over.
He's 61, man. He's still got some left.
Still
in him,
got
bro.
some left in the tank. Where
I
is
didn't
he
wanna
gonna
say
go
that.
he hasn't coached already, Nando? All right, you ready? All right, let's play. Where has Doc Rivers coached? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 6 over under for Doc Rivers. I'm going to go with, do you have it pulled up in front of you, Nando?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go over under. I'm going to go over. Doc Rivers has coached over 6 teams in the NBA.
1, 2, 3. Only 4 teams in the NBA, Mr. Steve.
Really?
As a head coach, at least.
Okay. All right. 4 teams: Boston Celtics, Clippers, Sixers.
And the Magic, baby. The little Magic.
Oh, that's right. The Magic. I forgot about that Magic team that he coached back in the day.
He has been around forever, though, man. Coaching since 99. Like, it's getting up there.
Man,
Right?
I really would have thought that it would have been. I could have swore he coached a couple of other teams. I guess he didn't. Doc
mean, he-
Rivers could be the New York Knicks head coach. They're rebuilt. That might not be a bad fit. I could see now. Doc Rivers and Mike and Dolan, James Dolan. That ain't going to happen. That's why I don't know if that will happen. He's the worst owner in sports. All right. Man, that was awesome. I enjoyed having that conversation with Wes Goldberg.
Wes was sick, man. It was a fun time.
Wes is such a great guy, and he's knowledgeable about everything. tonight, who do you got? Lakers Nuggets tonight. Who do you got?
I've always been a big fan of Jokic, Mr. Little Joker, bro. I had to briefly hate on him because of the Markieff Morris incident, but if Wes tells me it's okay to love him again, I'll take him, bro. I haven't rooted for the Nuggets for a long time, Steven, so I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them tonight.
I can't stand you, and I hate you.
Hey, man, I hate me too sometimes, but I haven't rooted for them for a bit, so it'll be nice.
You want the Lakers in the finals no matter what, okay?
No, I don't.
Oh, Phoenix Suns, Safi Dean, who covers the Dolphins, said Doc Rivers could end up in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about his
That
age.
would be bad, actually. I could see that, right?
That's what I was asking about his age.
After that whole, if they want to keep that group together, that's where he goes.
Yeah, he needs
if they
a team
break up that group, which I said, here's a theory I have. Chris Paul, Lakers uniform next year. And I meant to ask Wes,
Banana Boat Buddies,
John Morant situation. Where's John Morant next year? Because the Memphis Grizzlies are sick and tired of John Morant's crap on social media.
That might have been a little hot topic right now. So,
I mean, they are. They're sick of him. And good, bad, or indifferent, I believe he's gonna play somewhere else next year.
He's so talented, bro.
And I did see somebody put him in a Heat uniform. Could you imagine if John Morant came to the Heat with Jimmy Butler?
Well, that's fine. We'll have him under surveillance. We'll be watching him like a hawk, man.
Pat Riley would be like, all right, man, we got full-time security with you. Jimmy Butler's going to have his arm around it. Look, man. Look, young man. Let's go. Now, I don't know if he would do well.
Full-time security and they'll all have wands, bro.
Think about everything he's been in trouble for South
We'll have one, Steven. The security will have one.
I mean, Tootsies might have a new person there.
Give me your gun.
Welcome, Ja. Welcome to Tootsies. Definitely see that happen.
I will personally hold any weapon you need me to. And just make sure you don't grab it. All right. But come to the Miami.
Did you see the video?
Even his buddy
was trying to save him and was like, oh my God. If you go back and watch that video, you're sitting there and you're like, you feel bad for Ja to a certain extent, because I'll be real with you. I think it's depression and anxiety 100%. I think he's acting out and he's got some mental health situations, and that's nothing bad against him. I just think young man, a lot of money, got the world at his feet, and has a lot of pressure on him. So I think that I want to see him do better, but man, that holds. And it's funny because you saw his friend and just like, oh my God, his face was like, shit.
I've had friends
happen.
I've had friends look at me like that, man. I can
only imagine. Disappointed in your life decisions, right? You're disappointed in the decisions that you make.
Well, they're like, I was trying to take a little video, man. I was trying to bring all this up.
Man, it's going to be good. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. All right, man. Let's start bringing on some people, man. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. NBA, Heat, LeBron, Panthers, Miami Dolphins, offensive line. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You guys come on and talk with us one at a time. Ask us your thoughts or your questions or your ideas, whatever you want to do. We'll talk. We'll go for the last 30 minutes. It's y'all's show. The last 30 minutes, it's the fan show, right, Nando? It's whatever they want.
For the fans.
For the fans, by the fans. Also, Miami Sports Music.
Congratulations.
Hey, just a reminder why we're waiting to come back. If you haven't done so already, the FedEx Takeover in Washington, D.C. this year. We hope to see you there. We're going to have a Saturday night meet and greet the night before. We're also doing it. We're working on something big potentially there too for that Saturday. We can't say if it's going to be a charity event or something else, but we're working on it. I don't know if it's going to. I'm about 35% it's going to happen, but it's pretty dope if it does. Philadelphia, the Philly Finvasion, absolutely amazing. Meet and greet the night before at Miller's Ale House. And then the tailgate is starting 5 hours before the game, 3 p.m. We're starting the tailgate in Philadelphia. and then Baltimore beat down is going to be great. We're going to do the same setup that we had last year in Baltimore. And man, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, do you got to come out to one of these, man?
I was just gonna say, I think I might. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the Philly one, because as much as I've always wanted to go to a game in the Link, my brother's 18th birthday is the day before, so I doubt, unless I convince him to want to go to Philadelphia, and he's not as big into football as I am, so I don't think he'll want to go. And then maybe the Washington game, man, because that'll be my buddy Alan is going. Bob Young is going to also. Shout out Mr. Bob. So that's gonna be a fun time, man. And I think I might be going to that little Washington, the FedEx
takeover, man.
Yeah.
And just so you know, we have tickets in the upper level and the lower level. And then we have, the tailgate, and it's a 10-minute walk from the stadium. And
he sounded super excited. He said it was all you can eat, everything's taken care of. Like, it's if you want to go to a game and just fly and have everything handled for you and just enjoy.
So, like,
it's the move,
price,
man.
the most expensive stuff is going to be Philadelphia. That game's going to be,
of course, too. That's another thing. It's also the price for it, man. Sunday night, it's so costly.
So to be real, and I get it. I'm telling you right now, our tickets beat what's on the third party market by a mile right now. And our lower level is Dolphins tunnel, visiting teams tunnel.
Stop.
Dolphins side.
Bro, I'm gonna be trying to convince my little brother so hard.
But dude, I'm serious. We've sold 80 tickets so far. Like, we don't have access to much more. So if you guys want to go to Philadelphia, buy your tickets now in the pre-sale. I honestly think we're gonna sell out in the pre-sale for the Philly game. Like, that big
Sunday night, baby. It's gonna be a sick game.
It's gonna be crazy. Now Baltimore is gonna be another great game. New Year's Eve in Baltimore, 1:00 game. Then you can
I'm definitely not going to that game, I think.
But dude, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be sick, bro. But partying in Miami over partying in Baltimore, man.
Update should be hopefully I'll have all the information from Dolphins NYC in the next 10 days or so, maybe 14 days. So just be on the lookout, Bob. We'll get you info on that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Shout out the legend.
I'm not putting that one together, but Dolphins NYC, Michelle and Igor, they're the best, and it's really, really good stuff, man. All right, let me bring on the first person this morning. Where I'm putting
the legend.
Bob is a legend, man. Bob bought his tickets already. Shout out to Bob. Bob, are you the Bob from Northern Virginia? Are you part of the Nova group, the Northern Virginia Dolphin fan club? Interested to know if you're the same Bob.
I think he is. I know he's from Virginia.
I think you are. All right. Here we go.
How many Bobs can there be in the U.S., Steven? Come on, man.
There's a lot of Bobs. Look here, Bob. Hey there, Bob. There's a Bobby over at Finn's Talk Network, my guy, Bobby.
There's only one Bob Young, the legend, okay? So
there is only one Bob Young, the legend. Yep, one of the founders of the Nova fan club.
Let's go! Bob. The legend continues.
If you guys are in the Northern Virginia area and you guys want to go watch a game, go check out Nova Dolphin Club, Northern Virginia Dolphin Club. Shout out to Joe Salinas. Shout out to Chad Brothmeyer. I'm Chad Broth. That's what I say. I'm pretty sure I just messed his last name up. I know I messed his last name up. Chad Broth. Okay. Chad B. Cuz my guy, Chad. And then there's Brad Wimes. And then there's Bob Young. I mean, that whole crew, man. That whole crew. Nova's great. We love Nova.
Bob alone gets my stamp of approval, man. I've said this in the past, man. I tailgate with Alan, my boy. Bob's his uncle. And if he's half the man, Alan is definitely half the man Bob is. So you got to party with Bob in the North Virginia group, man. That's freaking awesome, bro.
Hey, real talk, their bar is right across the street from a Buffalo Bills bar in Northern Virginia.
I love that. That gusto right there.
I'm thinking about going to the Buffalo Bills Dolphins game in to watch it there in Northern Virginia at that bar. Just so what they do is when Dolphins score, they go into the Bills bar with a flag and do a parade. And when the Bills score, they come into ours and they do a parade. But it's a great ride. And then before the game and after the game, they're on the corners of the street and they're yelling at each other and stuff like that.
That's pretty sick.
That's dope, right? I love that. So yeah, man, it's good stuff.
That's definitely worth the drive. We should definitely check that out, man. That's a fun time.
I know. I want I've been to a game there. I just haven't seen a Bills game there, which I want to. All right, let's go. Sosa. Good morning, Sosa. What's up?
Morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. We're just chilling. We're living the life. It's Hot Take Tuesday, man. We woke up breathing this morning. We're a little under the weather. I think Nando.
I'm about to say I'm only breathing out of one nostril, but I'm good, man.
Nando, I thought you were in the neck brace when you first came on.
He was moving like this.
I'm a little stiff, man, but
Dang,
that's
broke his
worrying,
wrist.
man.
Broke his wrist in the neck brace. What's going on with this guy?
Hey, by the way, real quick,
Falling
Sosa,
apart,
before you
man.
go, I just want to let people know, to all my NASCAR fans, Bubba Wallace, back-to-back top fives. Haters, you haters out there, back-to-back top fives, Bubba Wallace. Let's go, baby. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Sosa.
No, I just wanted to. I don't know if you've heard this before, to settle the LeBron and Jordan debate. I don't know why y'all are skipping Kobe, but
Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and I'll tell you why I skipped Kobe.
all right, you go to a girl's house 10 times and smash 4, or you go to a girl's house 6 times and smash all 6. Who's the GOAT?
It's just math, baby.
Math is math.
I'd like to enter into the record. I will like to plead the fifth, Your Honor.
Yes, finally.
But see, time out. Here's the deal, okay? The girl that you go over to her house 10 times, you don't have to hit it 10 times because she gets you on an intellectual level, okay? She gets you up here. She maybe made you a plate to eat, and
It's
she
the same girl, Steve.
Yeah, man. She
Yeah.
Trophy.
Hey, but LeBron needed assist by his homeboy on 2 of those.
Sosa, let me tell you something, man. You were my guy until about 20 seconds ago with this scenario. Okay, let's just get something straight. All right, LeBron is the GOAT. He is the man. And if you want to argue with me, that's fine. But the man has literally spent a majority of his career in the NBA Finals. A majority of his career has ended in the NBA Finals, and he's won
the East
ring.
was weak.
Dude, if I'm telling y'all right now, y'all are not going to shut me up if he wins a ring this year. You're not.
Nah,
He's going to get
you know
5,
what?
and I will guarantee the man will get 6 when it's all said and done. If he gets
Wes
5 this
Bronny.
year, he's getting 6.
You
I
know,
don't know when, but he's going to get 6 before it's all said and done. If he gets 5 this year.
You know what? I'll name him the GOAT if he could go play middle linebacker for the Dolphins.
Oh,
and
my
tear it
God.
up.
Hey, real talk, when he was in Miami that first year, like there was all these rumors that he was going to go play tight end somewhere in the NFL.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was could you imagine, as big of a LeBron fan as me, if he played tight end for the Dolphins for 1 year? I would have lost my shit, Sosa. I would have been, nope.
Could you imagine?
Just kill me now. Life is perfect. LeBron, dude, he was a monster in high
He
school.
signs the last week of the season. He's like, I want to play some playoff
He was
football.
an all-American
Let's do
football
it.
player in high school. The dude was
And Miami Heat LeBron was a different breed.
Oh my god!
no doubt about it.
That dude was
Bro, I
crazy.
would have put him at safety and have him
LeBron
just Troy
should never play in
Polamalu
the
everybody.
NFL. You don't get flags for flopping.
No, don't worry, bro.
I'd
I'd put him in at safety and have him just jump over every single offensive line. Troy Polamalu every single play.
And you know what sucks for me? I'm a Dolphin fan and I'm a Laker fan. Not too much of a LeBron fan, so I'm just like a player watcher right now. But having AD on one team and 2 on another, man, it's rough.
Hey man, look, here's so let me ask you real quick. Denver Nuggets, Miami Heat, or Denver Nuggets, LA Lakers, who wins?
I think Lakers in 5, maybe 6, but I don't think Jokic has a gas tank to be chasing around AD.
Me too. That's how I feel. I'm like, AD just needs to have 3 good games and they win. He doesn't even have to have 4 good games. He just
Jokic dies out every year. He ain't even chasing nobody.
Yeah, AD needs to have 3 good games 3 monster games, and I think he's going to get that in this series, like no doubt about it, in my opinion. And LeBron just needs to do what he's been doing, which is all my man's been doing is averaging 20+ points a night in his 20-something year in the NBA playoffs. Cuz
He better be
Nuggies just
thinking
silenced the
AR-15.
Suns, man. I love it. Oh, I love AR-15, bro. Mr.
That
Reeves is
boy.
a baller, bro.
I like that
Man.
dude too.
look, I
The real AR-15, not Anthony Richardson.
Hey, Steven. I haven't seen Von Joe in the chat. Is he still running from Sarny or what?
oh my God, Sosa, really? You brought that up? I thought I was able to escape that. Look, here's the deal, and I'll address it real quick. So both parties we talked to, and I had the conversation on a Twitter space.
Oh no, that's good. I don't like no negativity.
No, I had a conversation on Twitter
No
space.
negativity.
And look, I love both those guys, and I would do anything for both those guys, and they both know that. So I don't like what went down on Friday. I apologize if any fans were offended with what went down, but know that it was addressed. Know that it's, look, both guys are great guys, and
Man,
that's all I'm going to say about that.
If anybody was upset over that, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Look, I love both guys. That's all I know. And sometimes people, they get upset, and emotions get the best of people, and that happens. But
Yeah.
I love both guys. That's all I know.
I had a 49er fan tell me.
And that's the bottom line because Stephen D said so. Okay, that's what I say. All right, Sosa, get out of here, man.
Hey, hold up.
Be good.
Hey,
What's up?
I had a 49er fan tell me that he heard the Dolphins are moving to Germany and they're going to call them the Nazi Dolphins.
What? Tell that 49ers fan to shut the hell up. Like,
I thought that was funny.
Stupid. Just stupid. Stupid stuff. Like that. Yeah. Sosa,
All right.
get off my.
I heard the Kansas City Chiefs are going to change their name to the Kaiser Chiefs once they go to Germany, huh?
Oh my God. You guys are the worst.
That's an actual soccer
Bad
team.
Jokes.
That's a soccer team.
Sosa,
Steven.
see what you started on my show at the end. Get off my show, Sosa. I love you. Be good. I'll see you on Wildin' Out Wednesday, brother.
All right. Y'all get better.
Easy, Sosa.
You disappoint me too, Nando. Okay. You disappoint me too.
Kaiser Chiefs is a soccer team,
I like Kaiser Rolls.
but they're South African team, actually.
Look, I like Kaiser Rolls. About as Kaiser as I go. Kane's 1989. What's up, my guy?
What's up, guys?
What is up, boss? How's it been?
Good, and you guys?
I'm hanging, man. I'm doing good. I'm just taking it one day at a time. What's going on, man? What do you want to talk about today?
Same here. My only question is, why do the national media not like the Heat? Because after
Why
every
does the
series
national
they
media like not
win,
like the Heat?
it's always
I
the
don't.
excuse. Oh, this player was hurt. That player was hurt. Damn, so we can't get a congratulations?
All right. So to be fair, to answer your question, Kings
They hit on
1989,
all South Florida teams, man.
I let me say this, Nando, and you might agree or you might disagree with me, but I'd be honest with you. I think the national media is pumping up the Jimmy Butler story, and I think
Only him, though.
Yeah,
As
only
like a
him.
cutesy underdog story of a
Yeah.
team that's sorry, and it's very annoying. Not the driving force of a championship contender. They're saying,
right,
"Oh, how
let's-
adorable is it
Nando,
that Jimmy
let's
Butler's
talk
doing
about
this?"
this. Let's
before they
talk
get
about this
picked?"
for a second. In the Western Conference, there's a 8 seed or a 7 seed who's made the Western Conference final.
Yeah,
In the
Lakers.
Eastern Conference, there's an 8 seed. I don't know if that's ever happened, by the way. Let's just throw that out there where 2 7th and 8th seeds have made their respective conference finals in the same year. Now, with that being said, you have to get respect. You have to earn it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Miami Heat this regular season, they didn't earn the respect. But they definitely
Well,
beat a
they
number.
did, though.
Hey, a I'm calling a spade a spade. They definitely took care of business against Milwaukee. No doubt about that. And they definitely took care of business against the Knicks. Right? And so I get at the end
Although
of the
some
day,
fans don't see it like that.
yeah, man. I'm telling you right now, y'all. I think the Heat get respect, but I do agree South Florida sports in general get disrespected through the national media.
Did you
Of
see the win
course.
percentage that ESPN Analytics gave us?
No, what did they do?
3%.
3% chance of winning the series, bro.
Please. Now that's
3%.
disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
Dude, when the Bucks were up 3-1, when we were up 3-1 on the Bucks still, they said the Bucks have a 47% chance of coming back, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man.
When the
There's
Lakers
no
were up
love.
3-1, they said the other team they had pegged at like 12% chance of coming back. You know what I'm saying? They've been disrespecting us since the first round. They're still disrespecting us
For
in the
us to
Eastern
get
Conference
the
Finals,
love,
bro.
we'd have to win it all.
That's what
And
I'm
I don't think if we get that far and we win it, we still won't get no love.
Look, man,
That's the way I feel.
And that's fine. That's fair. I just, if y'all, if the Heat and Panthers have a ring at the end of this,
Yeah,
they can say all the hell they want.
that's true.
Facts.
That's
They
all
can say whatever
need.
they want.
That's
They
true
can say
too.
whatever they want. All right, Canes 1989. Be good, man. Love
Feel
you,
better,
brother.
y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Get in where you fit in. The link is live. It's up. Get on. Hang out with us. Let's make it happen. Let me ask you, while we're waiting for the next couple people to come on, Nando. If the Heat and Panthers win, do they have a dual parade, a joint parade, or two separate parades? Just
Brother,
curious.
give me. Oh man. So a dual two parades would be so awesome just because spread that out. Like I feel each team deserves their flowers. But then I want a joint parade. You know what I'm saying? Give me as much celebration as deserved because these are some 8 seed teams and they deserve to have that party. So have one, then you'll have the other. And then when both teams are ready, have a dual celebration, man. Have the craziest freaking parade seen in a long time throughout the U.S., man. My
I
God.
think that here's the logistics of it. I don't think you will get as many people at any one parade. But I do think that if you had a joint parade, you would have the biggest parade ever. And it would be a party in South.
I don't know, man, bro. My people just like an excuse to party, bro. If you just told me
I
there's a
got you. But
parade,
could you imagine a Panthers and Heat joint parade?
¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both, my friend?
Like, I'm telling you, it would be dope, right? And I would love to see it personally. I think it'd be awesome. I think you could pull it off because I mean, look, here's the reality. If you did two separate parades, you don't want to do it on the same day, which I don't think that they would do.
But they won't win at around the same time, I think.
They
You know what I'm
won't.
saying?
They will win at the same time.
No, man. It's like they're both win on Sunday, you know, like.
What are you talking about? They're not going to play. So the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals are on alternating days. They don't play on the same day.
No, that's what I'm saying. So if they don't play on the same day, then they won't win on the same day. So
that has nothing to do with it. You still do the parade a few days out, and it's not like, okay, you're going to do it 3 days out from the time you win it. It could be 3 days, it could be 4 days, it could be 5 days, whatever it is. You have to give the city much time to get everything in place and block off routes. But I'm
Miami
telling you,
Heat Monday, Florida Panthers Tuesday, joint parade Wednesday, baby. Let's make a week.
3 parades,
bro. 3 parades. Get
Come
that money
on,
you're churning
Nando.
in Miami.
That's a hot-
Get the people living. Get the people loving South
That's
Florida
a wild
sports.
take, my guy.
And then just have a third empty bus. And they go, "What's that for?" And you go, "You know what that's for."
And it's
for the Miami Dolphins to determine first.
and it's a bus in aqua in orange, and it's empty. And it's like,
Just waiting.
we're just waiting. We are waiting.
Oh my God.
I real talk. I think that if they both win,
I'd love to see 3 parades.
I don't think you'll see 3 parades. I think
I
you'll
did-
see
I-
one big one.
think about if you're like a diehard hockey Panthers fan and you don't give a flip about the Heat. And vice versa. If you're a diehard Heat fan and you don't even know what a hockey is. You know what I'm saying?
You don't even know what a hockey is.
Yeah, man. There's some highly homies down there.
Hockey.
There's some highly homies who go, a hockey? Well, a hockey who? A hockey you? A hockey you? A hockey too?
Me? Hockey
No,
us?
man. Hockey is a sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole other ball game, bro. So
I mean, I understand.
I just don't see. Like, I'd be rubbed the
just
wrong way if my team was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, if the Marlins and the Dolphins had to have a joint parade, you know what I'm saying? I'd be pissed. I'd be furious. I'd throw a
No, the
riot.
Dolphins should have their own parade.
No, of course, and that's because obviously that sport doesn't match up with other sports. But you know, I'm saying that concept.
Here's why I probably won't get one, because the Panthers have never won one, and they would want their own parade. But the Heat would be on board with doing a joint one. But maybe they do this. Maybe they give the Panthers their own parade,
and he just
then when the Heat have theirs, they invite the Panthers on their parade route to say, "Hey, man, come and do another parade with us."
Keep celebrating. I like that. Okay, because I was gonna say
that works.
Boom.
Panthers get their own parade. Everybody's happy, right? They deserve their own separate, unique parade. But when the Heat win, they invite the Panthers to come on their parade. That would be dope. And Noob, you're just a hater. Because Chicago could never have anything like that. You would never see a Blackhawks and Cubbies or a Blackhawks and White Sox parade.
Yeah, man. Enjoy wasting Connor Bedard's career, bro. That poor lad never had a chance going to the Blackhawks.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I've dropped the link. If you guys want to get up here, man. Talk with me.
Again.
What's up? We're here for a while. We're not going anywhere. Okay, done mowing the lawn. I've been listening. Great show today. Trucker Sean says, Trucker Sean, you're the man. Noob says the Cubs World Series parade was the 7th largest gathering in recorded human history. Is that a fact? I want to fact check you on that.
I'm sure Genghis Khan had some crazy parades in his heyday. Okay, so
love it. Hold on,
we'll have to check that one.
Chicago Cubs parade.
Interns.
Yes. Well, yep, it was fan-sided.
Damn it.
7th largest gathering in human history.
Noob don't miss.
Noob don't miss. Noob, you were on one. I'll give it to you.
Canes, it was awesome talking to you, boss.
13-4. Who's this?
You already know who this is.
It's Rashad.
What's up, man?
What's happening, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Here to save the day. I'm doing fine. Because they're vacation. Driving back. You said, huh?
I was saying, where were you that you were on vacation?
San Diego.
And you're driving back.
San Diego.
No,
I'm not driving.
You want to hear? You want to? So, hey,
greatest city in the world.
Little short nugget here for you guys. My wife always makes the joke, but I think she's dead serious. She goes, if we are ever homeless, or she goes, if I am ever homeless, I just want somebody to buy me a one-way bus ticket to San Diego.
San Diego. Discovered by the Germans in 1908.
She's like, if I had to be homeless anywhere in the world, it would be San Diego because the weather's great all year round. Beaches, beautiful.
They named it San Diego. It means a whale's vagina.
Wow.
I don't know.
Does it really?
So real talk.
Anchorman line.
So see, Rashad's thing is messed up. Rashad, you there? I don't know what's going on with this thing. Rashad's cell service is shoddy. All right, hold on. Let's try it again.
Mine?
What's up?
You still can't hear?
We can hear you now.
Oh, I'm just on the freeway. Well,
You have
see some beautiful traffic. No,
you out here in your wife beater. In traffic.
Gotta get on my last day, man. I won't take another video. I'll probably take one next month, but for now.
Are you going to any Dolphins? Are you going to any Dolphins games this year, Rashad? Rashad's cell service is horrible. Get a better cell service. I know a guy. His name's Alex. Call him up. He works at T-Mobile. I'm not saying T-Mobile's a great cell service, but you know. I lived in San Diego for 8 years. It's way too expensive. I'd rather be a bum in Key West. LOL. Good day to be a Dolphins fan. King Shore said, did something happen?
I definitely prefer to live in the Keys.
Did something happen? All right. PGA Championship is this weekend. Noob was trying to get us to talk about that real quick. Rory McIlroy confirmed that he is a member of Bills Mafia and the Josh Allen fan club. So I can no longer root for Rory McIlroy this weekend or ever for that matter.
Oh,
so yep.
Ride Max Homa, baby. Let's go.
Yep. Not gonna wait on him. Ridiculous part of Bills Mafia. How dare he? How dare he? Rashad's still on that dial-up. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Man, there's a lot going on in sports this weekend. You got tonight starts the NBA final or conference finals. Lakers tonight. And you get I get the Lakers, the Heat, and the Panthers for like the next 20 days. I'm about that life, just so y'all know. The PGA Championships this weekend. NASCAR's All-Star races in North Wilkesboro, first time returning there in like 20 years. The track was, so if you don't know anything about NASCAR, that's fine. But I'll tell you a really cool, quick, great story.
Please enlighten me.
North Wilkesboro is in North Carolina.
Got it.
It's where NASCAR used to race for many, many years. And then about 20-something years ago, they stopped going to the track because it's a very short track in a very small town, right? And the cool thing about that is that the track was always left there. And then and then it was abandoned. And so about 4 years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. did this series with NBC called Track Revival or a Visit of the Past. I forget the name of the show that he called it. And a lot of race car tracks have died over the last 20 years. And they're just abandoned. They're like ghost towns. They're abandoned. And North Wilkesboro was one of them. And it has this rich history of NASCAR and auto racing. And it's really, really cool. And, you know, Junior's a NASCAR historian. He's a third generation NASCAR. Earnhardt, his dad, Dale Earnhardt, his father, Ralph Earnhardt, or his grandfather, Ralph Earnhardt, 3 generations, right? So he has such an appreciation for just auto racing in general. So 4 years ago, they go visit this track, and he's like, man, it would be really cool. During filming this episode, he's like, it would be cool if we put money into this track and revived it so that a NASCAR race could happen here again.
That's sick.
So about 2.5 years ago, so for about a year and a half, there was just this this discussion of, okay, do they do this? Do they not do it? And what's really, really cool is they revived it. They put a few $1 million into, actually millions of dollars into it, repaved the track, and they've had some lower level stock car racing there the last couple of summers. And so this year for the All-Star race in NASCAR, they decided that they would do the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. So it's no points or anything, but it's going to be the All-Star race is going to happen on this short track in this small town in North Carolina this weekend. And it's going to be pretty cool.
Dude, I'm all for some sports history. That's sick.
Yeah.
I don't watch NASCAR. I'll watch that. Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, think about it. It's the equivalent of like like, here's the thing. I live in north of Baltimore, and I've been to DC a couple times the last couple of months, and I've realized RFK Stadium is where the Redskins used to play when they were the Redskins, and the Nationals used to play, and also I believe the team years ago, I think the Nationals again, when there was a team in Washington. And so RFK's been there for years. It's there. It's fully abandoned, I think, now. I don't think anybody plays in RFK anymore, and it's still up. It is the equivalent of a stadium that's been abandoned for years and then them reviving it and it coming back. Are you a big fan of old school stadiums? What's the oldest stadium or arena or anything you've been to? Have you been to Wrigley Field?
Well, I've been to stadiums in South America, bro. I've been to stadiums that were built in the 50s, 40s, and have never been
really
retouched. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think
really
of right now.
Bad facilities.
Teams that will never rebuild a stadium for the next 200 years, that they're just going to repatch it up. I've been to stadiums that the club suites don't have running water anymore, but they still have a toilet and stuff. Like, I'm trying to check the stadium age right now, but I've been to some old stadiums, man.
So I've been to I was at the old.
Still have their charm though. I like them though. Like they're the architectural design of them is just beautiful, bro.
I've been to Fenway Park before the Green Monster, or actually no, I was there right after the Green Monster was there. The Green Monster seats, because we went on the Green Monster seats. So I think they were a couple years old when we went there. So I've been to Fenway. Fenway Park still has old. So stadiums are legally required to have the seats so wide. I think it's like 13 inches. It has to be a minimum of 13 inches. The seats, how wide they can be.
Okay. Oldest stadium I've been is 1960. And
in the first few rows of Fenway Park, because it's a historical. It has, when a building gets an historical landmark, right? That's what it's called, right? I'm asking.
Yeah. Wait, did you tell me baseball stadiums are that old?
Fenway Park is over 100 years old.
I feel like a chump now. Because I've been since 1960.
Don't get me wrong; they put a lot of money into it.
Okay.
And
it looks new, bro.
There is 2 or 4 rows in Fenway Park that are wooden seats still, and are 11 inches. And that's because they're grandfathered in because of the historic landmark, designation that it has, they're not required to put that to replace those seats.
I think it's almost the opposite. They might not even be allowed to, Stephen.
With some things you're not allowed to, but in this particular situation, they kept some of the original seating
at a choice.
That's correct. Sick. So the very first time I ever went to Fenway Park, I saw the Orioles and Red Sox there on a Friday night. It was freezing, and it went 13 innings. And my wife had never been to an extra innings baseball game, and we were sitting in those wooden seats. She was not happy. And they stopped serving beer at the 7th inning. It was not good. Then the bathroom facilities, horrible. Okay, horrible. And then I've been to Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field was really cool. And that's also another 100-plus-year-old stadium.
That's crazy. At least there's money to keep them looking that clean.
Yeah, but some people think so. I live in Baltimore. Baltimore had a stadium called Memorial Stadium. And Memorial Stadium was very it had a very good, historical perspective in sports because of the Colts and the Orioles for so many years. Very similar to, maybe not as long as it's not as long as Fenway or Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium. But nonetheless, there are some people that think that some of these buildings shouldn't be torn down and some of these buildings are. I think Wrigley Field and Fenway Park should never be torn down, and they should always play there. Just put money into it. Like, it's that good.
Yeah,
But
no,
there
they
are
have the
some-
resources to do that. Definitely keep that up, man. It looks nice though.
But there are some people, like, for example, I live here in Baltimore and we have Camden Yards. And I love Camden Yards. I think it's one of the best places to watch a sporting event, period. But can I say that it had a nostalgia the way Wrigley Field does? No. Wrigley Field still has seats where you're sitting there and you are looking at a beam of the structure. I'm sitting here and in front of me is a huge ass beam and I have to go like this to watch. Are you looking? To look.
Yeah.
I can't see home plate. I can't see the field. That's how bad some of the stuff is. And so, some people think that they should change it. I'd be interested because they have blocking viewpoints.
So just don't show seats there. I don't know. I'd rather do that than tear down such a historic. If you tell me it's this historic, this precious, bro, that's sick. Like,
I agree.
When I was talking about crap stadiums in Peru, I'm talking about like disgusting hunks of concrete. Some of them.
So I did end up sitting in the bleachers. We ended up going to sit in the bleachers. And Fenway, we literally just walked around. We bought a seat that was obstructed view. That's the name of it. Obstructed view seat. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dolphins.
that's a tough spot to sit at, bro.
So that's where we
view.
sat. Our tickets were in Fenway in an obstructed viewpoint. We sat there for literally 30 seconds, and my dad and I looked at each other and we're like, let's go. And we ended up sitting behind home plate for a little bit. We paid, the usher like $20. He put us behind home plate for a couple of innings. And then my dad and I was like, let's go into the bleachers. And we sat in the bleachers for a couple of innings. But now I don't even think you can get into the bleachers without a bleacher ticket anymore. Which sucks because that's part of the nostalgia of Wrigley Field is they have real freaking bleachers. And then Old Yankee Stadium for me was interesting that they tore that down and built another Yankee Stadium right next to it.
New York.
But look, I like what they did to Hard Rock Stadium for football, right? Like, look at all the money they put into the Dolphins stadium the last, for that 3-year span.
Actually a gorgeous stadium.
I've been to, all right, so I've seen a game in New York, Baltimore, Washington. Washington, by the way, looks like a Lego setup. It's probably the worst stadium I've ever been to watch a game. I saw when we opened up like 10 years ago.
And I'm very wrong. The
horrible.
oldest stadium I've been to is 1925 in Italy, in San Siro.
And San Siro.
San Siro, the AC Milan stadium.
Oh, that's dope. You seen AC Milan?
I took a tour of the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah.
They weren't playing there when you were there.
No. My dad's seen a Champions League final there though, which is a Real Madrid final. And he's seen a Madrid AC Milan Champions League game in general. Yeah, no. But I got a tour of the stadium when I was little. I did not get to go to the game.
That's jealous. So look, on the bucket list for me is definitely going to see a European or a UEFA game, and I want to see a huge soccer game in South America. Like those are two things on the bucket list because
South America, so fun.
It's like the atmosphere is unbelievable. Like not even safe in some places. Like
it's not. That's why I'm saying I'm not really afraid of Philadelphia. Not because I think I'm this crazy hotshot. It's because like I've been like actually risking my life going to an away fan to stadiums in Peru. Even in Europe,
any sport that can end in a tie isn't really a sport.
Football can't end in a tie, so got you there.
Got you there, noob. Although
Football
it
ends in ties.
Celebrate the first super chat from Dolphins 1989. Let's go. All right, I think Kings has done one before, but it's saying that it's your first one. There's a new thing. There's a new update on YouTube.
Maybe it's a new account.
I don't know, but it says it's your first one. Thank you, Kings 1989.
But Europe would be 60. I mean, you should definitely check that out, man. That's
also
why I might not go to. I might not go to the Philly game is because that might be my brother's like 18th birthday. He's a massive soccer freak, so we might do like England and maybe go to some little games across the pond, huh?
A little goal. All right, so look, I've seen. All right, here we go.
I've been to. Still doesn't beat baseball though.
I've been to. I'm going to start with baseball. I've been to Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, old and new.
That's cool. Okay.
Mets Stadium. I never saw Shea Stadium. I've only seen Citi Field a couple of times. I've been to Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Camden Yards. I've been to RFK and National Stadium to see the Nationals. I've seen Major League Baseball at the new Miami Stadium in Miami for the Marlins. And I have not been to Tampa, and I have not been to Atlanta.
Okay.
I've been to Kansas City. I mean, no, I haven't been to Kansas City. I've been to Pittsburgh, PNC Bank, beautiful stadium. Detroit, Comerica Park. The same day I went to Comerica Park, the Lions were having an open practice, and I got to go see the Lions Stadium.
That's sick.
Yeah. I just walked in. They just let people go into the open practice, and I sat in the first row and watched the Lions open practice. Matt Stafford was there, Calvin Johnson. It was dope. It was really cool. Megatron. I saw Megatron. I've been to Cincinnati, the Great American Ballpark, probably one of the funnest stadiums I've ever been to. They have a huge Hall of Fame.
Really?
They have a Hall of Fame attached for the Cincinnati one. That's pretty dope. I got a couple people in the back. I'll bring you on in a few. Let me just finish this. I've seen both Chicago stadiums, Kaminsky Park for the White Sox, Wrigley Field for the Cubs. I've been to St. Louis, the new stadium, New Busch Stadium, and I went up into the yard. St. Louis was cool. I saw Milwaukee. That was a dump. I didn't like Milwaukee a lot.
That says a lot. You just named a massive list of stadiums.
I've been to 18 or 19.
And the first one you said that was a dump was the Milwaukee Stadium.
RFK
that tells me
RFK was a dump too.
All right.
But they had the Montreal Expos had just left Montreal to go to DC, and so they were building their new stadium and playing a couple of years at RFK. And so I think it was the first year they were there, and I saw the Cubs play the Nationals, and I saw Alfonso Soriano when he was with the Cubbies, which was really cool. I've seen Cleveland. Cleveland was cool. Cleveland as a whole, the city, gets a bad rap because that was a fun-ass city. Fun city. And as far as football stadiums are concerned, I've seen Baltimore, DC, Miami, New York, Cincinnati. Didn't see a game in Cincinnati, but got to tour the stadium. And that might I got the tour, and I've been to Heinz Field. I've been to Pittsburgh.
There we go.
I saw that. I was at the playoff game for the Dolphins and Steelers a few years back. So yeah, so I mean, I think I've been to 18 or 19 Major League Baseball stadiums, and I've been to 5 or 6 NFL stadiums. But the goal is to go to all of them. You know, it's on the bucket list. My problem is I'm scared to go to the West Coast. Legit, like I'm scared of earthquakes. Like I think that's the freakiest thing in the world to me. The Earth should not move like that.
Bro, you'll be fine, man.
No. I've been in one earthquake, and it was here in North. I was a vacation sales rep for Blue Green Resorts at Bass Pro Shops. True story. And I'm sitting inside of Bass Pro Shops, and if you've ever been inside of Bass Pro Shops, they have this huge ass, like light. I forget what, and it's huge, and it's got antlers and stuff on it and everything, and it's the size of a car. And I'm sitting there talking with a client, and all of a sudden the building, I get a little dizzy, and I realize it's not me, it's the building moving. And then you heard for like 25 to 35 seconds, which was the longest 35 seconds of my life, and like the thing was swaying. It shouldn't move. The thing was swaying, and I saw the building like go like this. and it was for a good 35 seconds. And I stopped the sale. I said, "Sir, I'm sorry. We're going to be closing because they got everybody out of the building." And I called up my supervisor and I said, "We just had an earthquake. The earth is not supposed to move like that. I'm leaving." And
done.
left, got in the car, went home, crawled into bed, and I didn't cry, but I was damn close to. And I was like, the earth should move. I had PTSD from it. And I'm like, yep, I will never go to the West Coast. And I know I will one day, but I am so scared about being in it. Like I've been in hurricanes. I've been in like Tornado Alley. I've been in blizzards. I've been in almost every natural disaster imaginable. Super scared of earthquakes. The earth should not move like that. Just want to throw that out there. At all. You hear me? Nando?
I get you, bro. It's part of the reason why I ended up moving. My family moves out of Peru, bro. I don't think I've ever been through I don't remember an earthquake, but I apparently have been through an earthquake when I was a little baby. And in the little nursery, shit started falling, and my mom freaked out that I was gonna die. And she was like, "This is not happening. This is the last straw. We've already talked about a move to the United States. Let's speed this shit up, okay? We gotta be no earthquakes.
Gotta get out of here. Can't do it. Yeah, Trucker Sean, it was like 2012. All right, last person of the day. My brother from another mother, ladies and gentlemen, Batman.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Are you wearing your Lakers hat, my guy?
2020 champions, baby.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I got Miami Heat hats, and I definitely have a A1 Lakers hat with 23 on the side of it. So yes, I will be.
It has the trophy on the side. 2020 champs. Hey,
Yeah,
listen,
well,
it's hard.
no,
It's hard
that's
being
true.
from Miami, and obviously, I like the Miami Heat. Again, my favorite team was 1997-98. Great team. I remember my mom used to have the poster on the wall in her room. It was one of the best teams I've ever seen. I know a lot of people are going to go to the 2011, 2012, 2013 teams, the Ray Allen and stuff. And it's granted, it's just a team full of stars, but back then, those were the stars, 97, 98. But became a Laker fan, obviously in 97, big Kobe fan, and I still remain a Lakers fan. And it was very hard to, I mean, I'm sure for you too as well, Steven. I mean, that 2020 bubble championship,
do you know how much I've had to defend that over the last 3 years?
Yeah, it's difficult.
It sucks having to defend that bubble championship as a LeBron fan because everybody's like, "Oh, LeBron has 3." I'm like, "No, he has 4." He goes, "No, that doesn't count. It was
3.5, Steven.
No, you see, don't start with me because I legit get mad at it, and I'm like, one could argue it's just different, right? But one can argue that it definitely is it was probably a harder championship.
Anyone who says 0 is stupid.
Yeah.
You can argue half. You cannot argue that no championship was won.
Yeah.
You can argue an asterisk.
And again, it's credit to all the teams involved. It wasn't just the Lakers.
Nando,
it was
the reality of it is that LeBron won it. And that's why
someone won a championship.
That's why it gets dismissed.
And the thing about it is that people need to understand, yeah, it was difficult, being away from your, for the most part. Towards the end, it got better. The rules changed as far as being able to bring your family in and, wives, kids. It changed at the end, but at the beginning, that was difficult for every team in the bubble. And I think people forget, and I hate to go back to this moment because it was very emotional for me, but that was the year Kobe died, and everything went on hold with COVID, and the Lakers were playing with a purpose. Like, it doesn't matter what you put in front of them, they weren't going to lose. And
you know what's funny? It's not funny, but what was very interesting about the whole Kobe death situation, RIP, rest in peace. I was not a Kobe fan. As a matter of fact, I was a Kobe hater for many, many years. I loved rooting against the Lakers. I don't know if I would say I hated them. I've always hated the Celtics. I've hated any Boston team for that.
We all hate the Celtics.
Yeah. But I definitely never rooted for Kobe, and I never rooted for the Lakers pre-LeBron. And I hated, and I have to admit, I wasn't a fan of Kobe. I didn't like him. The moment Kobe retired, Kobe started doing stuff in the media. And you started seeing all this stuff with his daughters and everything. And I instantly fell in love with him after his career was over. Point blank. After his career was over, instantly fell in love with Kobe. And when he died, and by the way, I would follow Kobe. I'd listen to his motivational speeches. He started doing a lot of public appearances. I would listen to all of his interviews. I thought he was a funny guy, loved everything about him. And when he died, I legit cried for like a day. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's like
it
if
was
somebody
weird
died in your
because
family.
my wife turned to me and she goes, she was consoling me. She was there for me. And she goes, why? She's like, you weren't even a Kobe fan. I was like, I know. I don't know why this is hitting me.
I didn't think he was real.
I think I saw a different side of him. My hope is that LeBron gets that same sentiment when he retires, that people start falling in love with him and not like off, because to be fair, Kobe on the court was a monster and easily top 5 greatest player of all time. And I'm not a huge fan of when somebody tries to say, okay, no, it needs to be Kobe and Jordan, not LeBron and Jordan. But I can admit that I'm biased towards LeBron. And I can also admit that Kobe had 5 championships and the man was a monster on the court.
The thing about it is that, when I talk to older folks that have been watching the game longer than I have, I'm 35. You ask them the question, who's the greatest? They'll tell you Wilt Chamberlain, and Jordan's not even close. So it's like, it's generations. And at the end of the day, I understand what Lewis says all the time. The NBA is soft now, but listen,
it's a different game. It's a
completely different game. And the thing about it is that, as the generations go, we're going to see things that we're not used to. Rules are going to keep changing. You have to appreciate what was there before. So I didn't get to see Will, obviously, but I did see the early Jordan years from the early 90s. Saw the Jordan years after, when he came back out of retirement from baseball and started playing basketball. I saw the passing of the torch to Kobe. And then when I saw the new age of that 2003 draft, arguably one of the greatest drafts of all time, seeing LeBron come in, like you mentioned before,
it is the greatest NBA draft of all time. It's not arguably, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would push and say the 96 where Kobe came with Steve Nash and Iverson and Marcus Camby, but yeah, you might be right. When it's all said and done,
Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. I know I'm forgetting several more people in it, but I mean, the
Kobe one had Ray Allen, Kobe, Iverson,
was KG,
Marcus Camby, Steve
KG
Nash
in the Kobe draft.
No, it was a year before.
Okay. It was the year before. Yeah, I don't know. I would say the 2003 NBA draft is the greatest NBA draft.
It will be when it's all said and done. But I will say this. So, obviously, you mentioned, we've never seen an athlete when they were in high school being put on TV like that. I had never seen that before. LeBron was picking up steam. I didn't like when he put the chosen one on his back before he even played a game in his life. I didn't like that.
That wasn't him that was doing that. That was everybody else. Are you kidding me?
But he put it on his back. He put the tattoo on his back.
Man.
He put the tattoo on his back.
The kid was 16 and 17 years old.
I get it, but how would Dolphin fans feel?
He shouldn't even be getting a tattoo at that age.
Nando, I want Nando and Batman both. I want you to all listen to me for a second, okay? LeBron James is arguably and debatably, I don't think that's a correct word, but you understand what I'm trying to say, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There has been nobody in the history of sports that was pumped up to be the greatest thing in the world. Haterade.
Haterade. I'm drinking Haterade today.
There is nobody ever in the history of sports that was pumped up to be the great one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
I agree.
At 16, 17, 18 years old. And then it came to fruition.
He did first game. I think it was Sacramento.
He met all expectations that were ever expected of him. Nobody in the history of the world, okay, maybe not the world, but
I miss the
ringless LeBron
LeBron
ever lived up to the hype that LeBron had.
Those jokes were so funny.
But the dude, LeBron came with a purpose. He came with a purpose, like you said. Day one, I think it was first game was Sacramento. I think he dropped like 28 or 36, something like that.
The fact that he didn't get NBA All-Star that first year is outrageous to me. Just want to throw that out there, and it was stupid that he didn't win that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But so again, you got to appreciate what's in front of us. See, like when Kobe retired, I knew the NBA was in good hands. Obviously, Curry was already established. LeBron was established, champion already. You know, the newer generation of kids growing up are getting to see Curry. Now they're seeing, unfortunately, you know, the situation with John Morant that's going around now.
You know, it's so funny that you say that real quick. Just a side note. I said to my wife, I said, yeah, it's like, you know, when LeBron leaves, we were talking about it during the earlier thing of the NBA finals. And I said, John Morant is probably going to carry the torch. I thought Trae Young in Atlanta would for a while. I said, John Morant's going to be able to carry the torch. Now with it all, I don't know. But to be
You're
fair,
almost right. He's
but
just carrying the gun instead.
Okay, but to be fair, there was a young man who had a lot of bad stuff happen at the beginning of his career, who wore purple and gold, and he was public enemy number one for a couple of years in sports, period, and turned it around, turned his whole image around, and you know,
anything could happen. I mean, he just needs to circle himself around better people.
I think he needs to circle himself with better. Now, having said that, his friend that was in the car with him definitely was trying to stop what was happening.
That's not a friend. That's not a family member. You can't do that. You can't do that.
So there's three people in the car at least, right? And the one guy behind him was trying to say, dude, stop. Like you saw, like he was trying to like stop it before it started. And the guy that was in the back seat, but the one who's driving, the one who's recording him, gotta go. Can't have that.
And you can't, because again, he's inspiring a young generation right now. You know, you can argue he's a top 5 player right now. Kevin Durant. You know what's crazy? I was watching the Lakers and Warriors. Bron, with his age, Curry's 35, the babyface assassin, 35 years old. You would never think. And it's crazy just to hear that 35 Curry. So it's like you ask yourself, Durant's getting older, Curry's getting older, LeBron's getting older. Who's going to lead the generation? And it's unfortunate, you know, you need John Morant to clean himself up because, listen, basketball is a beautiful sport. That's what my first love before I got into football. And, you know, it just sucks. Like Lewis says, it's not what it used to be. And you know, it seems like nowadays we just tune in playoff games. That's it.
So real quick, yesterday I'm watching the NFL Network. And the first John Elway Super Bowl was on, the Green Bay Broncos Super Bowl. And it's in the fourth quarter. It's the last 8.5 minutes. The score's tied at 24 apiece. And actually, no. The play I'm even thinking about at that point, Denver had already marched down the field and scored. And now there's like 1.5 minutes left that Brett Favre has. And they're trying to go down the field. And there's a pass that is thrown, and Steve Atwater, I believe, or Atwater, whoever the safety was for Denver, gets, for lack of a better word, because I don't know a better word to use, and I don't mean to be insensitive, straight murdered him on like a defenseless wide receiver, and nothing was called. And I'm watching this and I'm like, that is 15 yards and a first down in today's NFL. It would never happen in today's NFL. It just wouldn't. And so I was like, man, maybe John Elway doesn't get that ring because all of a sudden Green Bay gets the ball at the 10-yard line with 20 seconds left. And maybe Brett Favre is able to tie that game. Or maybe even go for the 2-point afterwards, right? So it's definitely a different NFL now. But I don't like to say that a league is better than it was before. I think every league has evolved. Every league has changed. I'm a huge baseball fan. Huge. Love baseball. Thursday, I'm taking my daughter out of school to go see the Angels and the Orioles so that she can see Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout.
Nice.
I'm like stoked about taking her out of school.
Let's go.
Like I'm stoked about it. It's something that I always wanted my dad to do for me, but we lived in North Carolina. There was no professional teams there. But I'm like, this is like a dream come true to take my kid out of school to go to a sporting event. But aside from that,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
They went to the Cowboys game. Right? I mean the Cubs, right? Cubs game.
Yep, Cubbies. Well, I liked when Principal Rooney was at the thing and he goes, "Who's playing?" or he goes, who's winning? Or what's the score? What do you say? What's the score? He goes, who's winning? Nothing. The score is 0-0. Or that's what it was. He goes, what's the score? 0-0. Who's winning? The Bears. And it was the baseball game that was on the TV, and it pans out to Ferris catching the foul ball. But you got me off track. But I love
the game on Thursday. The game on Thursday.
Oh no, baseball has also evolved too, right? Like now it has this pitch clock, and I hate the pitch clock with a passion. I was at the game with Crypto in Washington against the Cubs last week or a couple weeks ago. And I'm there, and I'm like, this is just a different feel. It's just different. Having a pitch
not
clock,
slow.
It's different. It's not the same game. It's
still 2.5 hours, though. It's still 2.5 hours.
No,
Steven.
it's 30 minutes less than what it was before.
I know, but it's still 2.5 hours, Steven.
It's different.
Listen,
Could you imagine being able to shave off 30 minutes of another sport? I can't even find 30 minutes to shave off.
Take timeouts off from people.
But Nando, Nando, I'll
take away TV timeouts. Yeah, I guess.
Nando, let me ask you. Do you remember when NFL the first go round instituted instant replay and there were no rules to it that one year? We're talking years ago. Like we were still kids at the time.
If you were a kid, I was
okay.
Not alive.
So I don't know, Batman, if you remember this, but we're talking like 16, 17 years ago. They instituted it for 1 year.
Okay.
There were no rules.
It was like
to
7.
It. Yeah, there were no rules to it, and everything could get replayed. And it made the game so long. And they were like, nope, we're not doing this. And then a couple of years later, they reintroduced it back with rules. But the first year they had it, there were no rules to it.
It was wild.
And it was wild. It was the wild, wild west. But it changed the game, right? And the question is, when you change a game, whether it be basketball and not allowing like hand checks and stuff now, or flopping, which, by the way, flopping happened years ago too. Let's not say that it didn't. Go back,
Vlade Divac and the Sacramento Kings in the 2000s.
My God, go look at that. I mean, I'll even go back to the Pistons. You don't think Bill Laimbeer flopped? Oh my God, that man flopped like no other. Now he also gave it to people. Don't get it twisted. You weren't coming into the
clothesline. You
weren't coming into the paint without getting clothesline against the Pistons back then. But to be fair, it was a different game. So the question is sports in general, when a sport evolves, make it better or worse? And I think the answer to it is it's different. And I would agree with you when Lewis might say a statement like, no, it's not, it's bad or it's worse. No, it's different. And it's a different game. And baseball is not the same game that I remember with this.
But you still enjoy it though, right? You still enjoy it.
So my dream as a baseball fan is to see a no-hitter. Like it is my dream.
Like live.
I want to see a no-hitter live.
Nice. Okay.
I don't think I'll ever see one with the pitch clock. I think it is almost impossible to have a no-hitter or a perfect game with the pitch clock. Because in baseball, everything's about timing and just like
it's a groove. You're messing up somebody's groove with a pitch clock.
And you get into that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning for a perfect game or a no-hitter. I don't know if you're going to be able to have somebody who's going to be able to keep up with that.
All right.
You know, I just
super baseball casual here, bro. Does that not take away a little bit from the merit if I could take like 3 minutes between pitches to find the perfect time to like throw it and be like, ha, look, you missed. I'll be like, well, bro, I'm waiting for
there's going to be people that practice this even with the times, with the years coming now, with the pitch count. There's going to be people that train for this.
It'll evolve. I don't dismiss that.
How crazy would it be?
Nando, to your point, the first week of spring training this year, they played a video of no, it was the first game of the year this year. And they synced up a game last year of 2 minutes. And in that 2-minute span, there was all 3 outs for a game this year, and there was 1 pitch thrown last year.
That sounds ridiculous.
They synced it up. There was one pitch thrown in a 2-minute span and they had all 3 outs in this year. So your question, if I'm correct in hearing it right, say your question one more time so I can just get.
Basically, I'm saying like I like that they have to speed up more to be able to throw faster. Screw your groove, bro. Like I want you to be able to toss it. My question was essentially like I think it takes away from a merit of a no-hitter if there is no pitch clock and you get all the time in the world to decide when you're throwing the ball.
But all right, so Colin LaRoche said there's still plenty of no-hitters in college baseball. I'm not comparing college baseball no-hitter where the talent is night and day. By the way, let's be real, Colin. Most players that are of any obscure talent, they're getting drafted out of high school and going to the minors, the people that have really, really real talent, right? So let's not go there, okay? I think that's a bad analogy to say.
So, Steve, I'm gonna get you mad because we actually had this conversation on Saturday as far as baseball. Like, so look, I grew up. My uncle was a diehard basketball fan. He's the one that he lived with. We all big family, one house. He introduced me to basketball since I was like 3 years old. My dad loved baseball. He really loved baseball, and I tried to, want to watch. I wanted to sit down with my pops and watch, a baseball game, and I did it a couple times, many times. But it's just boring for me. Going to a game is different. It's more fun. The atmosphere.
Going to a baseball game?
Yeah, it's more fun, obviously, than compared to watching it on TV. But we were talking about this on Saturday. I know they changed rules to speed up the game. 30 minutes. We even brought it up.
Yep.
I have ideas to make it even more fun. And this is something I've been wanting. I've said it I said it on Saturday. I said it before. Make the game 7 innings. If the game is tied at 7 innings, just like they do in soccer, where they do penalty kicks, best 5 players.
You do a home run off.
Home run derby, best 5 players.
So in the independent league,
that would be sick. As a casual, I'd watch.
So here, I'm going to come at this from 3 standpoints, so bear with me. The XFL made a deal with the NFL this year, and basically part of the deal is they get to try new rules in the XFL that they might want to adopt in the NFL and see how it adapts to real world.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Right? Yes, true story, okay? There's a league in baseball called the Independent League. It has no public or has no affiliation with any professional team, any Major League Baseball team. And the Independent League has a deal with Major League Baseball that Major League Baseball helps fund independent baseball. And in return, independent baseball tries things like computerized dumps. They have. They did the man on the rule where on extra innings they put a man on second in extra innings, which by the way I absolutely hate as a purist of the game. And they started with the pitch clock that was tried out in independent league baseball. I understand about catering to a new fan group, like a younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 3 problems with the Major League Baseball compared to the NBA and the NFL. The NBA and the NFL allows for people to make hype videos and not be torn down. They can't make money off the hype videos, but they can make as many as they want and throw it up there and people can watch them all day. Right? That's one. Other things are players are a lot more like the social media. NBA loves that their players are on social media, except when the John Morant situation happens. But for the most part, they love that their guys are on social media. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the NFL. They love that their guys do podcasts. They encourage this stuff. Okay, they encourage it. The Major League Baseball absolutely hates, before the whole situation with the sexual assault allegations, Trevor Bauer. They hated him. And I think part of the reason he even got into the mess that he was in is because he was hated in Major League Baseball circles. Because the man had his own YouTube channel and tried to. The MLB doesn't have a problem with the younger generation. Major League Baseball has a marketing problem. Let's just get that straight. Now, they've evolved that over the last few years, putting stuff on Amazon, putting stuff Tuesday night baseball on TBS. They're doing a better job having the K-Rod thing, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's different, right? It's the Manning cast version of Major League Baseball on Sunday night. They're doing these things to try to evolve the sport. But last year, I had Xavier Scruggs, who's part of Major League Baseball Network and ESPN. That man is perfect for Major League Baseball and the younger generation. And he has an afternoon show on Major League Baseball Network. That is great. I love it. It's wonderful. Go watch it if you've never watched it. And he's got his own YouTube channel and a podcast. Major League Baseball should be putting him on the forefront of everything and letting Xavier Scruggs run Major League Baseball's TikTok, like all this stuff. They need to be Major League Baseball has a marketing problem. They don't have a game problem.
They have the stars.
Those games are 3 hours long. It would not matter if they knew how to market their product correctly. You know why the NBA was about to die back in the day? Because of TV deals, right? They didn't market it correctly. Now the most watched sport, American league in the world is NBA. It's not the NFL. It's not
so?
Around the world. NBA's
more
around
the world.
The NFL. The NBA is probably the best out of the 4 major sports in America at marketing. And the NHL's improved upon it. And you want to know why MLS is stepping up its game and becoming such a predominant force? Because they understand marketing. They get it. They're not stupid. Major League Baseball is going to look, if they don't change their shit soon, and they're going to be last in line to the party. And it's not going to matter if it's a 2-hour game or a 2.5-hour game or a pitch clock. That's my opinion. There might be some people that disagree with me, but that's my opinion. They have a marketing problem.
Okay. Good to know, because like Nando's saying, we're casuals when it comes to baseball. We want to see all sports. I mean, we all want to see sports flourish at the end of the day. And I don't want to discredit anybody that loves baseball. That's why, like, I know sometimes I make harsh comments, but listen, it's a sport. People love it. It's generational. It was America's sport for many, many years. And there's kids out there that are growing up. They want to play baseball. There's girls out there that want to play softball, you know? So
my daughter's one of them. My daughter's 7 years old. And so I said to her, hey, look, you want to play softball this year? And she goes, softball? What's that? And I said, well, it's what the girls play. That, girls, they play softball and they have, softball. And she goes, well, what are the Orioles? And I said, baseball. And she goes, I want to play what the Orioles play. And she's like, my 7-year-old daughter is the only girl on her team and loves baseball. And I'm about that life. I'm all about it. But
the girls can play baseball.
Well, 100%. And I think there will be if you want to ask me what the first sport will be with a woman in a professional men's sport that actually succeeds or has a history, it's either going to be a kicker in football or a field goal kicker in football, or it's going to be a pitcher in baseball or a hitter in baseball. Like, I 100% can see that happening.
Little Miss Daniels, the first woman in the majors.
I've been putting. You don't think I tell her that you're gonna be the first girl in Major League Baseball?
That's awesome.
Like, that's awesome. And I think it will happen one day. But now, to be fair,
I will play fantasy baseball that year and draft a
younger generation of baseball fans are baseball fans because their parents, somebody in their lives, are a baseball fan. The only place where I've seen marketing at its finest for baseball is actually 2 places: Chicago and New York. You're either a Cubs or a White Sox fan and it's religion, or you're a Yankees and Mets fan and it's religion. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, purple, Dominican, Jewish, whatever. Cuban. Baseball in New York and Chicago succeed and will have generations of fans of years to come, and are able to support 2 Major League Baseball teams because I think it's nostalgia, probably, for the most part. But they don't have to cater to a younger generation because everybody in those cities watches the games and are a part of it. But, you know, to go back to the original conversation, because I know I just went off on this tangent of Major League Baseball. I think sports in general just needs to do a better job with certain things as far as marketing, as far as, you know, just I don't want to wake up one day. Let me ask you both this question. I'll start with Nando. Do you think one day we wake up and the NFL was flag football?
No way.
20 years from now, 30 years from now?
Oh, God.
I'll never wake up to that. That's all I'm saying.
It's a scary thought, Steven. I don't even want to think about that.
It's too scary of a thought. I will not be waking up to that.
Let's be serious. Do we think that the NFL is going to be a flag football game in 25 years?
I hope not, but like you're going somewhere. You're going somewhere.
It's going to be a lot more of a finesse sport, you know, but like it's going to.
Do you understand why the NFL fought tooth and nail to hide CTE and concussions? Because they knew that parents were not going to let a lot of their kids play contact football until they were of age. And even then, it's going to be a huge question mark.
Well, that's what I think it'd be finesse sport. Like,
all right, so we talk about a soft era of people, right?
Oh, it's going to be a soft NFL we're talking about.
I know we're getting into, like, you know, politics talk, and I don't want to get into that. But to be fair, if we're moving in this direction as a society in football, when they become of age, high school, college, and they go to tackle for the first time and they get killed in a tackling drill, they're going to say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. I don't need this in my life.
Well,
I am truly scared for the sport of football in 25 to 30 years. Truly.
Scary. It's scary, but you're going somewhere with that, Steven. I mean, like, the game is evolving. Players are getting mad. We're getting mad as fans, but they're trying to protect the game we love. And I understand that for the people that have been watching for years, you know, protect how they protect the quarterback, and you can't touch a quarterback. You have to lay him on the ground. Going back to the Phillips when he tackled Herbert for a sack and they called it a penalty, which is ridiculous. The game is evolving. We hate it. We get it. But at the end of the day, they're trying to protect the sport too much, in my opinion, and it's affecting how the fans react. But I get it. At the end of the day,
they next generation of fans.
It is, and it's affecting parents. It's affecting parents.
So Omar just said he's got a 5-year-old son that's already playing tackle football. That's great. I by the way, I don't argue with parents that do that. Here's what I would tell a parent, right? And I'm not telling Omar this. I'm just saying in general when I'm having the conversation. Is your son learning how to tackle? Is he learning how we make fun of Tua and this whole jiu-jitsu thing and how to properly fall? Here's a reality of the situation, people. Is your youth football coach properly teaching your kid how to take a tackle, how to properly give a tackle? Because leading with your helmet, that was of how football tackles were approached 20 years ago, that don't happen no more. It can't. So I'll be honest with you. I love football. I love the Miami Dolphins almost as much as I love my kids and my wife. And they'll tell you that probably. But to be fair, I don't know if I would ever let my son play football till maybe high school. And even then, I'm going to have a difficult time saying, you sure you want to do this? He loves basketball. I think he's going to be a great basketball player. But I don't know if he's going to be able to play. Thank you for yawning into the mic, Nando, for that. This is such a boring conversation that you just yawned into the mic.
But it's a real conversation, though.
My meds are kicking in, Steven. It's not.
I know. We were supposed to be all 47 minutes ago. All right, let me add one more person to this conversation. Lewis, hey, what's up, man?
I'm sorry. I was very rude, though.
What up?
Did you want to get into this conversation real quick?
Yeah, I did want to just jump in real quick.
Go ahead, man.
This year, I'm coaching my son's flag football team. My 7-year-old, he just turned 8. And the only reason I even put him in flag was because just to teach him like the angles and stuff. He has never played organized sports. But I'll be honest, some of the things that I've seen, with flag football, it's worse in my opinion because especially at this age group that I'm coaching now, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, bro. Like even this weekend, I had basically every kid that played hit the floor in some kind of capacity because instead of grabbing flags, they're pulling on shirts, they're trying to hold, they're tripping over, they're even just running in. They're like looking for the contact. And in my opinion, with no like headgear, no nothing, it's even worse. At least in tackle football, you know, again, it's a vicious sport. We all understand it. But I'd much rather have my son, and again, I'm just, for me now, my son, I'd rather him fall with a helmet on than fall on the floor with nothing. You like, it's just.
I think my counter argument, just to give you one, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with you. I just want to give you a counter argument to your perspective, is go look at rugby. And rugby is the concussions on that sport are almost, I'm not saying they're not there, but they're not anywhere near what soccer and football are here in America at all. Rugby, your injuries are, and by the way, they have no pads, they have no helmet, anything like that, because you have to learn how to properly hit somebody with your body.
It's a lot of technique. Yeah,
it's all technique. I know we sit here and clown Tua for this whole jiu-jitsu situation, but I promise y'all on everything, it will become the standard. In my opinion, I believe, my opinion. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying I believe it will, but I'm not saying that it will. I think that it will. I don't want people to say, Steven, you're trying to say that this is the end-all be-all. No, this is my opinion. I believe that it will be the standard in sports in the next 5 to 10 years. Personal opinion.
And I'm glad you brought up Tua in this situation because I get it. I'm not saying it's not going to help, Steven, but I wish you guys can help me understand that. Let's just go back to the Cincinnati game, and I know it was a vicious hit, right? But how does judo or how is learning how to fall going to and take Tua out? Insert any quarterback. A quarterback is not going to be as big as a guy like, let's say, Christian Wilkins or the guy for Cincinnati that slung Tua to the ground. Bro, when you're getting picked up and almost body slammed by a 315, 320-pound guy, how do you protect yourself in that? Like going from a controlled environment to judo and learning. Yeah, now your techniques and stuff and tucking your chin down, I've heard. And I get it. But as fast as this game is moving, if you get a 320-pound player and they grabbed you by your jersey and with their momentum running at you, he's flipping you over and like body slamming you, bro. You can't tell me that you're gonna like what you're learning in judo is gonna in a controlled environment. I don't understand how that's gonna help a player like that. And like I said, not just with Tua. Well, and I get. I'm just saying. I'm using that play as an example, Nando. Like the play in Cincinnati, Tua was getting slung to the ground.
Lewis, let me just quickly ask you real quick. Side. And I know I'm not. Do you think in the next 25 years the NFL's flag football or close to it?
Absolutely not. No. Listen, I think these guys get paid. And again, whether we like it or not as fans or whatever, the fact of the matter is these guys make millions of dollars to put their bodies on the line. They know what they're signing up for. It's the same thing in boxing, same thing in UFC, same thing. I mean, rugby. When you're an athlete, and again, listen, I got a 19 and 17-year-old. My 17-year-old has aspirations of making the league. You know, he's getting ready to start his college. Bro, he understands every time he steps on the field, he understands there's a risk to him getting hurt or whatever. But bro, he's signing up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, in my opinion, I don't, Steven. I don't see it changing at all. Now, they're going to try to make the game safer. Yes, as we can see, yes, they're going to do that. But as far as football ever changing, no, you're never going to be able to take the physicality out of the game. It's not going to happen.
I believe that the NFL cannot survive a DeMar Hamlin situation if it were to be the worst case scenario.
Wow, yeah.
I think there'll always be physicality.
I don't believe that. Go ahead, Nando.
I think there'll always be physicality, though. I don't think DeMar Hamlin is a tough situation, though. You know what I'm saying? But like, you can make it safer. Like, they are working for it. Like, I agree with Lewis. Like, they're never gonna make it flag football.
So,
but
Nando, let me
lacrosse is a finesse sport.
Correct.
But there's a shit ton of hitting. But it's because they've made it safer. They've done steps to reduce. You can't. It's like hockey. There's no charging. Like, you can't run up and hit somebody. Like they're gonna take steps to make it safer for football. There's still gonna be hits, but it'll be a finesse sport.
All right, let me ask you something, Nando. You're a big sports fan. When a boxer or an MMA fighter gets into a fight, they sign a contract waiving liability, which basically says, look, if I get hurt or injured, I cannot sue the entity that did this to me to do whatever. Now, to be fair, UFC and box and the boxing commissions and the state athletic commissions provide health care for these guys, but it's super expensive, by the way. They're paying like premium prices. Nobody talks about any of this, by the way. There is no way that the NFLPA is ever going to sign a piece of paper during a labor dispute or a labor discussion or a labor negotiation saying, yeah, you know what? Here's what, because the NFL will say, if you guys sign a liability waiver, we'll keep it the way it is. But the NFL's never going to get that from the NFL Players Association, nor should they. And I'm telling you, the NFL's scared to death after what happened with the Damar Hamlin situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared.
And again, and I'm not trying to discredit the situation because I think the world stopped, when he got hurt, and we were all, and I hate to get to this subject, but everybody's life matters, right? Every single player, everybody's life matters. But can you imagine, Steven, if that, and again, knock on wood, hopefully this doesn't happen, but can you imagine how the NFL will be affected if one of their stars in this league goes through that? That would make your argument.
It would cripple the game. No pun intended. It would cripple the game. And you don't have those things. Look, here's the thing. Have people died in Major League Baseball? Yes. You can get hit in the head with a 120 mile an hour pitch coming off the bat.
People had heart attacks on fields.
Yep. All that has happened. But the NFL game, the NFL's already tried to cover up how violent it is. So you already have a strike against that. The NFLPA probably, I can't account for the last 10 years, but what I can say is I know prior to that, the NFLPA trusted the NFL absolutely zero. They didn't trust them. They didn't trust that they had their best interest at heart. None. Absolutely none. So I love football, and I pray that the Dolphins never go away. And I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime, to be perfectly honest with you. But am I scared what football and Miami Dolphins football looks like to my children? Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm scared.
All sports matter. And again, at the end of the day, anything could happen. Listen, these athletes are putting their life on the line, not just in football, but in general. You get hit by a pitch in baseball. You can get hit nasty in football. Listen, I witnessed in person, live in a game I was playing in, where a player died on the court playing basketball. Like 30-year-old guy, 30 years old, 32 to be exact. Like, they get paid millions of dollars. They're putting their lives on the line for entertainment for us. And at the end of the day, if the league determines that they need to do something, yeah, we're all going to get pissed. We're all going to get mad.
Al Kirkpatrick says it's a big business. The NFL will not change. You guys are reaching way too much money being made on the backs of these kids. And the NFL recorded the highest amount of concussions that it's had in a few seasons, even after spending billions in trying to reduce concussions with more. Here's the last thing I'll say, and then I'll let everybody have final thought of the day. When it comes to the concussions in a game, final thought here is, the practice things that are on these helmets,
the white little globes.
Yep. Those will become standard in the NFL in the next 5 years during games. Guaranteed. Okay. Mark my words, that will happen.
I can see linemen, like they do it now. It's linemen only, and then probably quarterbacks. I can see that.
I 100% think that's coming into the game. And I can see them like at any major hit, like I just see them, we're going to throw the flag. If you tackle somebody, that's one thing. You blow somebody up, you're getting a flag thrown. And that sucks because it's a violent game to begin with, to be fair. But I don't think you're going to see the big hits anymore. And
the best part.
I'm just telling you.
I want the big hits. I think you should be penalized severely when it comes to like the Tua hit from Buffalo, right?
Like that. That's
like
going to get out of the
unnecessary
game in the next 5
stuff
years.
where the play is dead or
And the
things
guy
like you should be taken out of the game. Like no questions asked. You want to do something like that dumb,
you're gone.
When you're gone.
And by the way, it won't even be, hey, look, no, this is what you did. You're gone. You're suspended for however many games, whatever. And the NFL can't dispute that. And the NFL Players Association can't dispute that till the next labor negotiation. But the fact of the matter is, the NFL, what it is today, is not what it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago for that matter. And it sure as hell won't be the same 5 years from now what it is today. Mark my words on that. Final thoughts of the day. Lewis, go first. Lewis.
Appreciate the conversation. I think it was a great day.
It was a great day. Sorry, my draft day moment there. Sorry.
That's it. That's all I got, man. Love you guys.
I love you,
all
man.
Right,
Lewis.
Tampa Bay's
Later, boss.
Tampa Bay's the best.
Yeah, true leave.
Batman, you're about to go live on your channel, the Finsaholics show on YouTube.
1 o'clock. Gotta go for a little bit before I gotta pick up the girlfriend. But final thoughts. Lakers championship run starts tonight. Heat, I believe, is tomorrow. Panthers on Thursday, 8 p.m.
Yeah. So it's Lakers, Heat, Panthers. Next
Every
3
day we get something special. Every day we get something special at night. I love it.
I know, man. I'm about it.
So yeah, hey, I want the Heat Lakers rematch finals. They're not the truth. Boston is not the truth. We know the Heat and Lakers finals. That's what we want. That's what the league needs. They don't want to see Boston get destroyed for the 18th championship. No, they don't want to see that. So Miami Heat, because for everybody that said that the bubble was fake, all 4 teams are back in it.
All 4 teams that were in the Western and Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble are in there now. If anybody tries to bring up the bubble argument to me, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems. Because I know you're just hating or trolling.
I want Miami to make a statement versus Boston because I think they're frauds. They got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are amazing players. Marcus Smart stepping up. Williams, not a bad center. But it's Miami Heat's time. And they're going to prove to the whole NBA and for the doubters that they are better than the Celtics, Philly, unfortunately. Philly and a couple other teams. But, yeah, the Heat are doing great things. I love it. Miami's feeling it right now. Football, I didn't even get to say a little bit about football, but Miami Dolphins, I love the 2 signings, the tackles. I love it. I really, really, really do like it.
I will like it if it's not their only move on the O-line. Like, I need them to sign a couple of other people. And I think that they will post June 1st, to be perfectly honest with you. And then I will say, great depth pieces, good with it.
We cut 3 linemen on Saturday. We signed 2. We signed a cornerback yesterday from the XFL. So we have the 90. We have the 90 technically 90 team roster
right now, and I think that will change.
Of course,
there'll be even more as we move forward because you got to remember, what's his face is going to get cut post June 1st.
Byron.
And I still don't know. I still don't think Noah Igbenogany makes this team. So
it's gonna be a gauntlet for him. I mean, I know you're a big Noah fan, Steven. That's your favorite player, but yeah, he might not make this team.
Nah, man, he's making the team. He's 23.
Well, look at the guy we just got from the XFL. I mean, we got like
teach him.
How about this one? I said it yesterday. We were saying receivers. There's our most loaded, position group. Cornerback might be really loaded right now with everybody coming back healthy.
Second, so position group in order, secondary number 1. Like it's not even debatable. Wide receiver number 2. Defensive line number 3, and then probably running.
Forget about Tua.
Running
the quarterback room. You still have a Tua. Remember, we have a Tua.
Yeah, I guess you know what? I'll say I'll put the quarterback room 4. I still like our defensive line room better than our quarterback room.
Our quarterback room is so good, and I know Pete's not gonna like to hear this, but quarterback room is so good that Skyler might make the practice team. He might not even make the 53. I'm just saying.
Could you imagine a world where Pete is wrong?
I could never imagine that.
All right, man. Go do
Much
your
love,
show.
guys.
Love you, brother. Be good, man.
Love y'all. Be safe. Have a good day.
Have a good show, Batman.
Nando, we went into overtime. We did an extra hour on the show today.
Yeah.
So Noob who was like, this show keeps getting shorter and shorter. We did a whole extra hour, cuz.
Powered through for you, Noob.
You called us out and we didn't want you to call us out.
Oh, sorry. I'm stifling yawns left and right.
I gotta go pick up my kid here in a minute to go take him to go get a haircut and a shave.
Gotta go take him to get little Daniels. Mr. Steven.
A haircut and a shave. A haircut.
I was gonna say that you gotta
I'm so tired.
I called him the future #1 overall pick. You need to get him a shave already. He's definitely a future #1 overall
9
pick,
years
man.
old already.
9 years old shaving. I'm calling Nick
he's not.
Saban right now. I'm like, I found a gem. I found a 9-year-old with facial hair. He's the one.
If I was doing the show, it would last until at least 3. Y'all want to donate and make us stay on for longer? You can go ahead and do that. But
I do have a
to find
16-ounce
another
Red
way
Bull.
to make some money around here. I'm just saying.
16-ounce Red Bull. I could crack it open. But no, don't make me do this.
Here's what I say. Here's my final thought. My final thought is this. I have a few things. Bear with me. Number 1, LeBron's reign starts tonight, baby. Let's go, Team LeBron, all mother loving day. Number 2, I am super stoked that over the next 16 days, or 14 or 16 days, whatever it is, I can see. Actually, I think it's like 21 or 23, something like that. I think it's 20 plus days. 7. Yeah. Whatever. Over the next 20 days, I can see, if I'm doing the math right, which I don't believe that I am now, whatever it is, over the next 2.5 weeks, every night I can see a South Florida team on national television playing a game in their respective conference finals. That's dope as hell. And I love everything of that. Third thing, guys, please, if you are if you are going to go to the Philly Finvasion, the Baltimore beatdown, or the FedEx takeover, please go buy your tickets now in the pre-sale.
FedEx.
Because the prices are going to go up come the first of the month, and they will not be cheaper than what they are now for any 3 of those situations. And the reason that we had them cheaper now is because we made a deal with the caterers and the ticket reps that if we were to get a lot of sales in before June, that they would be able to give us the best prices for all of that stuff. And then post-June, the prices go up because honestly, everything has just gone up. The price of food, the price of alcohol. Let me tell you, the fact that I can keep the Baltimore Ravens game pretty much the same at the price level that I was at is a miracle. I had to negotiate that. So just know I'm out here working hard, and I'm trying to make an awesome experience for all Dolphins fans that want to see them
Mr. Steve.
in Baltimore, Philly, or DC this year. Later on this week, Mark Angelo will be on the morning show to discuss Fan Club Weekend down in Miami this upcoming season, which if you've never...
Do you know when that is?
I do not. I'm not. I will announce it on my morning show this week.
Oh, it gets announced this week?
It's announced.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping tomorrow Mark will be on in the beginning to announce it. But if it's not tomorrow, I'm predicting Thursday will probably be the day. If you've never done Fan Club Weekend, look, I always tell people, if you can go to 3 games a year, go to Fan Club Weekend down in Miami, because it's amazing. Go to the MetLife Takeover in New York, because it's amazing. And then just go to one of my 3 tailgates, because it's dope as hell. And it's a good times. And it's good stuff. So I hope that everybody does that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thursday, I'm doing a very short show on Thursday. It will be a short show, maybe an hour long on Thursday, just so you guys know. Because I have to leave to go get my daughter out of school to go to the stadium and be there by 12.
Take a video at the stadium.
I know, right? I should go live a little bit from the stadium on Thursday.
Or just at least enough for a little short, you know what I'm saying? Like a little less than 1 minute clip. What's up at the stadium? Me and Miss Little Daniels.
Me and my Savannah Grace. All right, where can the people find all your stuff, Nando?
Check me out at Nando Talk on Twitter, on YouTube. I just got to 900 subscribers, so thank you, whoever just subbed over the course of the show. That's sick. I was at 899 before this, so let's go 100 away. The final 100. 100 más to the little 1,000 subs. So we're almost there, guys. Thank you for everything. Thanks for tuning in. The 50 people who are still here who've listened for the last 3.5 hours. You are
we
legends of legends.
We averaged over 100 people today.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the core who are still here throughout even our longest of outros, Steven. Our longest of final thoughts.
Our longest outros. If you guys like the channel and
Thank you
are
for having me
able
on, Mr. Steven.
and you are able to donate, please donate. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. And to making sure that we can do this on a day in, day out basis. And we have a lot of stuff that we want to do this year, and we can't do it without your help. So please donate. I think that might be it, man. Yeah, Go LeBron tonight. Follow me at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. If you guys want to chat with me while I'm watching the Lakers game tonight, hit me up on Twitter, man. I'll be there.
Let's go, man. I'll be at the Commanders game, baby. I'll see you at the Commanders game for sure, Mr. Steven, and come to the Chargers game.
Let's go. So Solo D is going to be at that the left coast. He's going to He's doing a whole concert the night before, actually.
I might have to go check out Mr. Solo then.
Yeah, that Chargers game is going to be dope week 1. I will not be there though. I got I can't afford that. I can't afford Germany and I can't afford LA. So I'm lucky I can afford everything else. Donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Hit the like button. Go follow Nando Talk. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Wildin' Out Wednesday. Right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. You think he Dwayne Johnson, time to be the people's champ. Hit him with the people's elbows, sit together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some shadows, custom with some darkest colors, just to let them know we here. Yeah, I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to